Before we dive into the pitches, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Michael Zalkovich, Managing Partner and Global Head of Capabilities at Oliver Wyman, to deliver an opening address. Hello, Michael. Stage is yours.
Can you hear me? So, as I watch this, I'm just reminded that I have a 9-year-old son, and he would absolutely love it because one of his favorite shows that he loves to watch is Britain Has Got Talent. So watching all the judges kind of line up here makes me think about, doing some kind of a performance. So we're really excited about this. But in all seriousness, I'm excited to officially kick off the 2023 AI in Finance Global Challenge. We have an incredible lineup of solutions, and really cutting-edge AI solutions that we'll talk about. And I actually don't take any of that for granted. Many people are typically afraid of change, afraid of new technologies. And when I think about what we're about to do here, I like flying, so one of the stories that I read about is Ray Bradbury's stories about, that was in the 50s, called The Flying Machine, where the basic of the story is set in China, 400 AD, where the Chinese emperor learned about somebody who invented a flying machine. And he really admired the innovative spirit of that person, but then he had the person execute it, and the machine destroyed, because he was very much afraid of what if somebody were to find it out, fly over a city and drop bombs on the city. And in some ways, I live in New York City. I'm not, that spirit of fear is actually something that we saw quite a bit in the introduction of AI. There are a lot of people whose first reaction to AI was, oh, it's scary, it's dangerous. Thousands of people signed a petition to basically make sure that all innovation stops right away. Now, there's something to do with it. The people signing the petition were the ones that introduced AI in the first place, so maybe they're just trying to pull up the gate behind them. But nonetheless, their basic point was we should slow down. Many companies that we work with, their initial instinct was to ban ChatGPT, cannot be used inside the company. Also, what is some of the top 10 movies on Netflix? All about robots destroying the world. So personally, I don't think that's the right response, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. I basically believe we should embrace it. And it takes guts and courage to actually come up with something new, stick your neck out and do something, and that's what we'll hear about today. Obviously, there is some risk that needs to be managed, but the biggest risk is actually not changing, not advancing, not moving forward. And I would argue that countries and regions that have done that have done well, and Singapore is one of them. I think there was a 2019, the government of Singapore put out a 2019 vision for AI, long before ChatGPT came along, and I think you're well on that vision. When I think about it, it wasn't just a vision, it wasn't just a deck, it wasn't a PowerPoint. There was $500 million beneath it, a lot of startups. I think Singapore is now major center for AI innovation, as measured by publications. And I think that's a real tangible progress that we all benefit from today. There are over 15 public-private partnerships in Singapore, including AI Singapore, and whose mission is to bring together startups and research kind of thing on AI. And that AI Singapore was launched in 2017, long before AI was really hypey. And in some ways, all around we do the same thing. We've had, Center for Advanced Analytics, going on for well over a decade. And so we kind of understand that many of these things where we got here didn't just arrive yesterday when ChatGPT got started. Whether it's doing next best type recommendation action to products, whether it's credit analytics, whether it's governance, whether it's, improvement of creative kind of products. And that's why I'm actually excited to hear what we're going to see in the competition. The MIS AI in Finance Global Challenge is a unique program. It's organized by the MIS. It's in partnership with the AI Singapore, and obviously we are proud of being supporting this. The goal is to bring in some amazing market-facing solutions on this. I think this year we had 160 candidates into the contest in 4 categories: elevating customer experience, operational efficiency, strengthening risk and compliance, and ESG. And we boiled it down to only 19 finalists, and all of those finalists left a lasting impression. So I'm excited to see it. Good luck to all of you. I don't actually envy the judges, so I'll leave it to you, and I'm really excited to see all the 19 finalist candidates come on board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. Once again, welcome to the talent stage. If you're walking around the area, come and join us. This is the MAS Global FinTech Hackcelerator 2023 Demo Day. So over the next few hours, our 19 finalists will be delivering their very exciting pitches. It's going to be really, really exciting. So come and join us. We've got lots of seats. Don't feel shy. Just plonk yourself down. And they've worked really hard to refine and to develop their solutions that they'll be presenting today. Now, they were selected through 2 parallel scouting programs, the local Hackcelerator track and the international partner track. But with us today, we also have a very esteemed panel of judges. They're all seated and ready to go. They come with a wealth of knowledge and experience cutting across the different sectors in the industry. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lee Xu Chun, Head of AI Development Office from FinTech and Innovation Group, Monetary Authority of Singapore. Hey, clap lah. Nobody had coffee yet this morning, is it? Okay, we also have Sona, Partner of Financial Services of Data and Analytics at Oliver Wyman. Hello. We have Dr. Leslie Teo, Senior Director of AI Products of AI Singapore. We've got Professor Ng Si Keong, Director of AI Technology at AI Singapore. We've got Professor Eric Cambria, Professor and Provost Chair, School of Computer Science and Engineering at Nanyang Technological University. We've got Lee Xiao Lee, Department Head and Principal Scientist of Agency for Science, Technology and Research of A*STAR. With us, we've got Aman Thin, Global Chief Architect and Chief Technology Officer of Alpha Platform of State Street. Hello. And also Geraldine Wong, Chief Data Officer at GXS Bank. And Jonathan Chan, Head of Global Innovation of Julius Baer. Can we give all our judges a big round of applause? Thank you for joining us, judges. And I hope you're excited to hearing these wonderful solutions that will hopefully transform the financial services industry. All right, so rules of engagement. Each of our 19 finalists will just have 4 minutes. 4 minutes, after which I'm going to come on and cut them off. 4 minutes to pitch, then we'll have a 4-minute Q&A with the judges, should they have any questions for our finalists. Now, the first category would be elevating customer experience. Please welcome on stage from Indonesia, Fintelite. Hello. Are you ready to go?
So ready.
Have your coffee?
Yeah.
Okay. Take a deep breath. You've got 4 minutes. You ready?
Ready.
Your time starts now.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nadia, and I'm from Fintelite. We help financial institutions to elevate their customer experience with our hyper-personalized analytics platform. And for this presentation, we would like to focus on the use case for corporate banking for our corporate champion, ENZ. In today's fast-moving world, understanding your customers isn't just important. It's essential. But the problem for now, banks, they have a lot of data. And those data, they're unstructured. As a result, it takes time for them to understand their customers. If we zoom out this problem, the delayed engagement could cost the bank 285 billion in potential lost revenue. But what if AI could solve that problem? We, with Fintelite, we help to elevate customer experience for corporate banking with our hyper-personalized engagement platforms. We help them in 3 key ways. So the first one, we help relationship manager to understand the business needs of the corporates by incorporating internal and external data sources into real-time insights. And the second one, we also help the relationship manager to understand what factors affecting the business decisions with our predictive model. And the last one, we combine real-time insights and also predictive model into real-time recommendation tailored for their corporates so they understand what to anticipate next for the corporates and deliver hyper-personalized solution for the customers. As a data platform, what makes us stand out compared to normal data analytics platform? So we differentiate ourselves in 3 key ways. The first one, from the data perspective, we enrich our data with data that are important for corporate banking, such as microeconomics data, market data, and also industry data. And second one, from the model perspective, we also build the model based on the corporate banking needs. And the third one, we also train those data with industry-specific knowledge. In a way, our model is not too generic and also specialized to answer the corporate banking needs. We also, in the past, have deployed our solution with the biggest banks in Southeast Asia. So our solution have been deployed to more than 1 million customers. So it's really scalable. We also have pre-trained API that can be deployed in weeks, not months. And of course, joining this competition, we would also give benefit to the industry, not just as a solutions. Because as of now, only 9% of the banks really offer hyper-personalized solutions that give the customers the product that they really need. And we with Fintelite, we want to change that, especially here in Singapore, the financial hub of Asia, where there are more than 1,000 financial institutions. We believe with our solution, we can help the customers to get the right product that they need. Before I end this presentation, I would like to show you on how our product works.
Introducing Fintelite. We start from uploading the data from internal and also external sources. We extract, cleanse the data, transform the data into real-time overall corporate insights, where we also give you recommendations based on overall customer trend and also top product and services utilization. You can also check portfolio of account with a corporate with personalized predictive models that are important for the business needs, such as transaction flows and Fed rate correlation, fund sensitivity to market FX and interest rate. And from that information, we give you insights on what managers should do, change, and stop, and top solutions based on the business needs to engage them at the right time. Fintelite, hyper-personalized banking made simple.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fintelite from Indonesia. Well done. Okay, now we've got 4 minutes with the judges. Let's reset the timer. And the 4 minutes starts. Let's just reset the timer so we've got the proper timing, so you get the full 4 minutes. Okay, time starts now. Judges, do we have a first question for Fintelite? Oh yes, we're going to bring out 2 members of the team as well, so you're not alone. Come, you join together. Okay, 4 minutes starts now. Yes, judges, do we have a question? Professor Eric, I see you holding your microphone, testing it.
Yeah, I mean, we already seen them, we already asked them a lot of technical questions last time. I just wondering from the point of view of the service, the product, you said you have these APIs that many are using, but what about those companies that don't want to send their data out for example, privacy issues? Do you have any alternative solutions for them?
Yep, of course. So we also offer on-premise solution. So every server, every data will be in the client side. Actually, we have done this in the past for a few times. So yeah, we can do that.
All right, do believe Aman has a question?
When you talk about pre-training your models over 30 million data points, what exactly are those 30 million data points? Where did you acquire them from? Is that a personalized data set that you have?
Okay, so it's transaction data from various banks. And from the legal perspective, I think we have made deals with them, so it's fine. It's safe to use, and yeah, it's transaction data.
Yeah, just to add on that, we also have a B2C platform where we also train our data from there. So imagine like our API is also like ChatGPT, where they also have like a B2C platform to train the data from.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Aman has a follow-up question.
But are the banks okay with sharing their data with you, where you are amalgamating data across multiple different banks to create insights? So in some ways, they are empowering their peers and competitors. How did you go about that?
Yep, actually some banks don't want that, and if they say they are not allowing it, then we won't do it.
And also on top of that, we also use mass data. So it's not like there's no PII data at all when we train it. So we only use mass data. And then for data sources, we have internal data on premise. And then for external sources, we use our API enriched data. So we inject data to their system. So the data is not out from the bank.
A minute 30 left. I think Jonathan has a question.
Yeah, one question around the external data sources. What kind of external data that you're aggregating?
It's likely most news data, like Bloomberg or Twitter or X right now. And also basically everything that have text on it, we can integrate it with our system.
We've got about a minute left. Judges, do we have another question for Fintelite? Yes, Leslie, please.
How would you differentiate your solution compared to, let's say, I'm already on Tableau, Snowflake, Databricks? These are all providing similar things.
Yes, as I mentioned, there are like three things that we differentiate ourselves. We believe that especially for financial data, the data sets that you enrich is really important. So for ourselves, if you do data analytics from Tableau, you only get data from the internal data, right? So you don't get like additional data. So imagine you as an RM, when you make decision, you also collect data from external sources. And that process can take days. Like for us, we also already enrich the data. So you open the dashboard, in seconds you can get the data. So the banks themselves can also save a lot of money and also a lot of time when using our platform because the data is already there from several other external sources.
We only have 20 seconds left. Dr. Geraldine, a really quick question.
Yeah, what's differentiating yourself from me building internally? I think it's similar type to question.
Really quickly.
Yeah, so for internally, so we have tested out because like, as I mentioned, we have pre-trained API that can be deployed in weeks. So our API, we also integrated with some other model itself. So if you're building itself, it could take you for at least like 500 days. Like for us, it's only weeks. Not only that, we also update our model every week. So you don't need to invest a lot of cost to update your model.
Unfortunately, judges, this is all the time we have. Thank you once again. Fintelite from Indonesia. Thank you. Good job, good job. All right, next up, this is once again the Elevating Customer Experience category. Please welcome from Singapore, Pandai. Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Ready? Okay, deep breath. Okay, 4 minutes starts now.
When we were younger, to buy a travel or motor insurance, we often spend a lot of time doing our own research online to get the best deals. In other words, we trade time for money. As we grow older, we skip the research and just call an insurance agent who will settle everything for us. The problem is we may not get the best deals from them. So we trade money for time. Is it possible for us to save both time and money when it comes to buying an insurance? Some might say, try the aggregators. Maybe, except that we have something better. So we say Gina.sg. Now, Gina is an AI insurance broker chatbot that lives on WhatsApp. It's able to give you quicker responses, better answers, more services, greater convenience, and because it is fully digital and fully automated, it's able to give you a lowest price due to its lower operating cost. At the heart of Gina is a proprietary AI engine developed by us here at Pandai that consists of name entity recognitions, intent classifications, large language models, as well as many other NLP modules. NLP stands for natural language processing. So this AI solution not only provides end users with an elevated customer experience, but also delivers superior business performance. How do I know? Because Gina is a live product. You can scan this QR code to talk to Gina today. Gina has an accuracy rate of 97%, an answers rate of 85%. 74% of Gina users currently come through referral. More than 1 out of 10 people who has ever talked to Gina end up buying from Gina. And if we only count those who have successfully generated a code, after talking to Gina, the conversion rate shoot up to 22%. Now, those of you who are in the insurance business will probably know what that means. Now, the AI and infrastructure technology behind Gina is a conversational AI platform that is both scalable as well as exportable. It is future ready and can be extended beyond chatbot to voice bot, email bot, and live chat. Since we started offering this platform last month to financial institutions, we have already signed out 2 insurance companies and a bank in Singapore and Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chuan Xin Wei. I'm the founder and CEO of Pandai. We are open for business at booth T20. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pandai. All right, now we've got 4 minutes with the judges. Let's reset the clock. All right, 4 minutes begins now. Judges, we've got Dr. Geraldine from GXS.
Is there different languages as well? You mentioned there were different insurance companies. What languages are they on?
So currently we support 5 languages, English, Chinese Simplified and Traditionals, Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Malaysia, and Thai.
Aman from State Street.
What's the customization that you've provided in Pandai? So for example, what is the difference between using your platform versus using ChatGPT?
So ChatGPT is one of the options, is embedded into our AI engine. So you can turn on and turn off ChatGPT as you wish. So the type of customizations that we offer to our customers is the full suite. So we build only custom AI chatbot solutions for our customers based on what they want, based on the business objectives, as well as the target audience.
We have a question from Leslie, from Dr. Leslie from AI Singapore.
So after last week's OpenAI Dev Day, are you worried that basically you're not needed anymore?
Not yet. So I watched that video twice, just to make sure everything's synced in. We don't think so, because number one, we offer a custom solutions. We offer a custom chatbot for our clients. Now, unless the clients want to spend, have the experience of us building AI chatbot for 7 years, and that they could, really, just right away, create an AI chatbot that is as good as what OpenAI is offering. Otherwise, they probably need people to still come in and look at the data, organize the content, and feed it into the platform. And we have developed a platform that is uniquely tailored for financial services. So some of this, so the AI engine is proprietary to us. We are not a thin wrappers, just wrap ourselves around OpenAI ChatGPTs.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Jonathan from Julius Baer.
Can you tell me a little bit about the transactional layer in the back end?
Which part transaction?
Is there any straight-through processing?
Yes. So for example, if you don't have like that, but if you scan the QR code and you can talk to Gina today, it is a live product. It's a MAS licensed insurance broker. You can buy a travel insurance or a motor insurance directly from Gina, from the point of getting code to filling out your personal information to eventually making a payment either via PayNow or credit card or Apple Pay or Google Pay. Everything is seamless. There is no human involvement at all. And you can buy, I've tried timing myself. As a repeat customer, so I can buy a travel insurance in 58 seconds.
We've got about a minute left. Judges, do we have another question? Professor Eric from NTU.
So as we know, large language models focus mostly on plausibility of the answer. Is there anything within your framework that makes sure that besides being plausible, the feedback is also faithful, like it's actually what the customer needs?
So what we do, the whole notions of large language models is based on predicting the next words. So there's no way we can control if you are evoking large language models, there's no way we can control the response. However, what we have done since Gina went live with ChatGPT a few months ago, we have actually looked at every single conversation, every single message to make sure that what Gina has produced is faithful, like what you say. And so far, we have not found any answers that is out of whack. But to answer your question, yes, we look at them carefully.
Unfortunately, judges, that's all the time we have. I'm so sorry, 4 minutes is up. Thank you very much. Pandai from Singapore, thank you. Thank you for your questions. Judges, we move on to our next finalist. Please welcome from China, Alaya Cloud Digits. Hello, ni hao. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you got this. 4 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are Alaya. We're excited to present our solution, Larimar, that embodies our mission, revolutionizing customer experience management, or CEM, for the financial industry. In the financial industry, customer satisfaction is a pressing concern. The Net Promoter Score, or NPS, of banks suggests that customer experience, or CX, is still beneath expectations. There are 3 pain points in banking CEM: lack of management system, outdated customer journeys, and ineffective use of data and technology. We've noticed banks try to quantify their CX based on metrics such as NPS, but their efforts of improving them has been largely ineffective due to these problems. By solving these problems, we aim to see a more than 20% increase in customer and employee satisfaction, a 10% increase in revenue, and a 10% reduction in cost. A statistic from China Merchants Bank reveals that for each point of NPS increase, we expect to see a $2,000 corresponding increase in AUM per customer. Turning challenges into opportunities, Larmar, our innovative solution, tackles these problems by 1, reshaping customer journeys to address common issues and increase NPS. 2, utilizing AI for customized experiences that significantly boost NPS. And 3, establishing an organizational structure that is efficient to further elevate NPS. With Larmar, banks are seeing real results: higher satisfaction, better retention, and documented success stories. Larmar's innovation lies in its proactive CM approach. Blending deep banking business know-hows and advanced AI technologies, we deliver intelligent vertical models that serves masses of banking customers. Such models would include NPS predictors, content generators for advertisement, etc. For AI to broaden its application in banking, it is crucial for them to integrate comprehensively with the bank's infrastructure. Our solution has been implemented across many major banks in China, fusing both LLMs and more traditional AI models into one unified architecture. In summary, Larmar incorporates 10 innovative features, thereby helping banks navigate the maze that is customer management. To successfully implement Larmar, we follow 5 key steps, ensuring a successful deployment in 3 months and gathering visible improvements in 6. We aim to serve a growing and emerging CM market of more than $20 billion. Additionally, we haven't seen any direct competitors. While we've seen some solutions that offer methodologies to track and monitor experience data, we haven't seen any. They appear not to have an effective way of improving them. We're also publishing a white paper on how LLMs can be used in banking CEM. And this is what our solution looks like. In 2016, AlphaGo's capability was predicting the next best move winning a game. Last year, ChatGPT emerged as a groundbreaking innovation predicting the next best word. How can we, in the financial industry, find out what is the next best engagement for each and every customer in every customer journey? That is exactly Larmar's ambition, and we're on the journey there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alaya. Cloud Digits from China. We've got now 4 minutes with the judges, and we're going to kickstart now. Judges, who would like to go first? A question for Alaya. Professor Eric from NTU.
I don't remember if I asked you this question last time, but you have different models. Some are old school, explainable, some not. So how and when do you decide which one to use and why? Is it an automatic process or each different task has a different algorithm behind?
Thank you for your question. So it's a very important question because AI is part of our core value proposition. So I'll give you an example. So for AIGC, AI plays a crucial role over there because for us to do hyper-personalized customer experience, it simply is too much work with traditional methods. That's why over here we utilize AIGC models to generate content. For example, Bank of China has 100,000 frontline employees, which may sound a lot until you realize they're serving 200 million customers. There's 2,000 customers per frontline employee, which is simply impossible without the usage of AIGC. So just like that, we have we let specific models handle specific tasks cater to the specific scenario.
We've got 2.5 minutes left. Judges, we have Zona from Oliver Wyman, please.
Just a quick question. I'm a bit surprised when you said you haven't seen any direct competition because the topic is actually not a new one, and there are different solutions solving personalization for banking. And that's number one. I would like you to elaborate. And also, the platform, as you described, seems to be multiple layers, super comprehensive. It's almost like a one-stop shop for everything. Is that how you differentiate?
Thank you for the question. So yes, what we've seen across the market is, well, most of our potential competitors offer ways of monitoring and checking of CX metrics, but they do not possess the expertise we have based on our teams of more than 2 decades of experience in banking that is able to know what to do exactly on top of monitoring CX. So we increase the NPS scores, etc., by reshaping customer journeys, and that takes deep knowledge from knowing exactly in banks how things operate and where the pain points, etc. So yeah, we are offering a comprehensive solution that banks can use from the get-go. We offer consulting services to let banks know from start to finish what to do exactly to improve them on top of just knowing what they are. So that would be our core advantage over potential competitors.
And I think there was a follow-up question. Judges, do we have another question? Aman from State Street.
When you speak about the banking business know-how and the 3,000 plus pain points, 6,000 plus best practices, what is the data set that you're using?
So these are our intellectual properties that we gathered through our past decade of consulting work across dozens of banks, that what we get across the years, that we know what are the most common pain points, a few thousands of them across the banks, and how to shape the journeys that, every banks may have a credit card issuance, for example, how that is done, what is the best industry practices.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you. Alaya Cloud Digits. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Singapore.
Thank you for coming. All right, next up to present, we have from Japan. Please welcome Delight. Okay, we're just going to give it a quick refresh. I think it's set. Oh, we're ready. Once again, if you're around the area, we're going to keep a few more chairs around, some white spots. Screaming out, please sit on me. So, please feel free to plonk your tushies down. We are just starting our MAS Global FinTech Hackcelerator Demo Day, and this is Elevating Customer Experience, the category. Please welcome once again from Japan, Delight. Konbanwa. Are you ready? Okay, you've got this. Good luck. 4 minutes starts now.
Hi, I'm Hiro, and our company is Delight. I lost my credit card, and I want the card blocked immediately. Chatbot disappointed us many times, so we end up calling support, wait a long time, get transferred many times. Quite frustrating, isn't it? We are developing call center automation service to increase user delight with a multilingual telephone chatbot.
Tokyo Hotel speaking. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I just arrived at the airport. Do you have a shuttle service?
I'm sorry, but we do not offer airport transfer services. Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
Okay, so do you have laundry?
Yeah, like this. This is just a simple demo, but we can handle very complex workflow. Actually, there is an industry-wide challenge in the call center industry and department. More than 30% of call center agents quit their job after several months because too busy in simple jobs. So call center department constantly recruiting, spending long hours training new staff. But by using advanced technology like telephone chatbot, zero call waiting time, 70% cost reduction is possible. And most importantly, there are 60% call automation potential by using our telephone chatbot. Most businesses need this technology, but cannot build themselves, so we are. Our phone bot consists of three components, like a workflow, QA bot, and the functions such as limitations, operating hours, and the API integrations. So the advanced technology, advanced call center, human agent can concentrate on more important jobs. And the primary response is done by the systems. Our business model is B2B SaaS. We have 4 plans, from affordable plan to scalable plan, starting from $10 a month. My co-founder Naki and I come from call center industry and service industry. I'm based in Tokyo, majored in AI. Naki is based in Toronto. Sorry, I'm based in Tokyo. Naki is based in Toronto, and he's a growth marketer and B2B SaaS sales expert. We are building a team now, and currently we have clients from 4 countries, and revenue is growing rapidly. To achieve the sales revenue, we are working seriously, and we have a 3 go-to-market strategy, but let me skip this. Imagine the world with 25,000 banks spending $2.4 million annually for the call center operation. If we acquire just 1%, our annual revenue skyrocket to $600. That is not just a number. It's an incredible opportunity ahead of us. It's a revolution of customer support. It's a journey we are seriously excited about. Competition. You might think the market is good, but too competitive. Our phone bot can handle more than 30 languages. That is 2.5 times, 4 times than competitors. And our phone bot competitors focusing on just simple Q&A. We can handle very complex scenario that offers 3x more potential. Cost reduction also. We already get funded, and the reason I came here in Singapore is to find a serious opportunity to solve this issue. Please find the orientations guy over there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Delight from Japan. Okay, ready? We've got 4 minutes with the judges. 4 minutes starts now. Judges, who would like to go first? Aman from State Street.
What is the voice API that you're using? Is it an Alexa API deployed on AWS?
Yeah. Your question is about platform?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a secret source, but it's a combination of third-party commercial platform. Yeah.
I think Dr. Leslie from AI Singapore, you have a question?
Similar question. I guess my question is about the moat you can build, given that there are many solutions and APIs on both voice and Q&A and chatbot and LLMs. How do you differentiate yourself from the competitor? What's your secret sauce?
I'm a software engineer, majored in AI, and worked for the systems development company, large system development company in Japan. So we test a lot of myself to avoid system down, slow response, because using a lot of API, that is secret sauce. And response speed is very important in the call center automation. So we are very focused on that.
Got a question from Zona of Oliver Wyman.
Hi, I'd like to understand your experience actually deploying in the financial service sector, because the example you showed was a hotel and car booking. For instance, in banking, a lot of the challenge with automation is actually be able to pick up, for instance, the hardship chat versus just a sales chat. Any experience there?
Yeah, most of the question is not the personalized one in the banking, other part out of Singapore. So for example, I forgot the password, I moved to other address, please send me document, and so we are focusing on more common, the more not private data. That is percentage is about 30%. If we can automate that, call center agent can focus more important jobs, only achieved by human agent.
We've got about 1:45 left. Professor Ng from AI Singapore.
Yeah. So you automate the simple one. How do you differentiate between the simple and the complex cases?
Okay, thank you for the question. The difficulty is AI is like a black box. So to handle conditional branching, we need to train a lot more. But our approach is different. We use traditional IT technology like a conditional branching. So it's a hybrid of AI and traditional IT. So yeah, that's a background.
We've got about a minute left. Anand from State Street.
How seamlessly can you translate from these simple use cases to complex? So for example, if your AI cannot respond to a user's question, do you immediately bring a user in and is it entirely seamless?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Before starting the project, we talk to client, and for this case, we can automate this. So client gives us the call automation workflow scenarios in advance. Then we set up our side as a SaaS company.
We've got about 30 seconds left for a really quick question. Judges, one from Jonathan from Julius Baer.
Hi, can I ask, how are you looking at your business model? Is it only on the call center side, or are you looking to expand and grow your business model to look even at like chatbots, for example?
We are only focusing on high volume call center, and but thinking about the global expansion in single business model.
I think that's all the time we have. I'm sorry, Professor Eric. Thank you very much. Delight from Japan. Thank you. Thank you. Next, our final presentation for Elevating Customer Experience category. This is from Japan as well, Toggle AI. Hello. Hello, how are you? Feeling good?
Feeling good.
Okay, you've got 4 minutes. Your time starts now.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is William Jacobson. I'm here representing Toggle AI. We're creating a better chat solution for wealth management to be able to deliver truly hyper-personalized customer experience. We're very fortunate to be backed by Stanley Druckenmiller as well as Mitsubishi UFJ. We are currently working on a very exciting co-development agreement with Microsoft to be able to partner on technology to pull data from text documents, not just the text itself, but to pull data from the charts, the tables that financial professionals find most important, and build that into the chat experience. Effectively, what we are doing is building a multi-large language interface to allow users. And in this context, I'm talking about a user being maybe a client of a brokerage, a client of a robo-advisor, a financial advisor, a private banker, a family office professional, even a hedge fund manager. All of those different personas have access to data. This is data they are entitled to. By building this, we're allowing them to have a conversation with their data to find out what's happening in their portfolio and what could happen next. So think of the questions that we can already answer today. These can be relatively simple. What's happening with Tesla today? They can be complex. What happens to my portfolio if the ringgit drops next year and sales growth in China drops? All of these things can be done because we have the analytics behind the large language interface. The beauty of this is it allows for a true conversation with the data that the clients have access to for the first time, and that allows for true personalization because you're having a conversation with your data about your personal experience. So this is just an example, right? What happens to Adobe stock if they beat earnings? Well, we're using the large language model is not to come up with the answer. It's to understand what question are you asking? Feed that into our scenario analysis. Get all of the data. Again, traceable market data, because in finance it has to be traceable. We have to have the audit lineage to pull back and say, okay, this is what they're asking for. This is the scenario. This is the results. And then back to the large language model to give you the answer in the language you understand. And again, that could be any language at any level of sophistication around the globe. The reason why we're excited, obviously, is because the wealth management space in Asia is at a tipping point. $2 trillion in AUM coming through mass affluent and affluent households in the next 3 years alone. You cannot create more financial advisors to deal with this massive influx of wealth. You cannot create thousands of new brokerage and robo-advisory platforms. You need to leverage the power of generative AI to allow those advisors, those private bankers, to serve their clients better, to serve those clients quicker, allow those brokerages and robo-advisors to be able to engage their clients better, and that's where we come in. So I'll skip through to, I want to just make sure we get the demo. This is a client asking about a portfolio. They might have questions on a call about tech pullback risk or recession. We can immediately go in and find their holdings. You can look through the holdings as well and find out what happened in the past. Again, all traceable market data. You can start to do rebalancing, right? This is driven by the advisor, driven by the client. And then finally, you can draft an email at the end, the summary, right? This is going to be an email from a private banker, but at the very same page, this could also be a client going through and just getting the results of their analysis on your brokerage platform. So you get the full summary. I'll skip through to, again, versus ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give you a Wikipedia-type answer. Toggle Chat gives you the actual data of what has happened and when, and that we think is critical. We are very thrilled to be partnered with some of the leading institutions, wealth management, asset management, hedge funds around the world. And we're excited about what comes next here in Singapore as we build the future of an AI investing co-pilot. Thank you all so much. Thank you, judges.
Thank you, Toggle AI. All right, 4 minutes now with the judges. Let's reset the clock. The time starts now. Got a question from Dr. Lee from MAS.
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry, yes. I lost my voice. I just want to ask how you differentiate your product with Bloomberg GPT. I talked with a Bloomberg GPT global head of product yesterday. Basically, they are building a very large language model to answer the questions similar as you. I also talked with GSE. This is a second question, which is this kind of solutions. The key challenge is ROI. Basically, what is the value you generate for your end customer, either RIM or whatever? How you solve these two? Thank you.
No, it's a great question. So I'll answer the second one first. We're really looking at this as a productivity multiplier on the wealth management side. So a private banker, we've heard from the banks that we're working with in POCs in the United States, it's about a 30% increase in productivity, right? They know there's a research report, it's somewhere in their email, they have to find it, versus just asking in chat, what is the house view on inflation? What is the house view? So the ROI is going to be on making them incredibly more productive, which they absolutely need right now. What we're seeing with groups like Bloomberg GPT trying to build their own large language models, what we are really focused on is using, again, we're large language model agnostic, using those LLMs to go through our AI engine, which we've been building over the last 4 years, right? Because that's always tied to verifiable market data. All the logs come in. So we're not trying to create our own large language model. We're not retraining every day, which is an incredibly expensive endeavor, which we know from talking with Bloomberg, right? And that's gonna translate also into the pricing model that they offer to customers, right? We're using large language models just as the orchestrator. We've already built the knowledge graph underneath.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry. Because my understanding, in order to fine-tune this LLM, the quality of the data is critical, right? And we all know Bloomberg have all the most high-quality data in this market. Then I assume they can build a much better accuracy models. How you compete with them regarding these areas?
Yeah, so again, what we're looking at, the knowledge graph that we have is based off of market data, right? So we're buying from many of the same groups that Bloomberg is, right? Think of Thomson Reuters now, LSE Group. Think of NASDAQ. Anything with a date and a value we can feed in. So we're only going with verified, the highest quality market data that we can feed into the system. And that's going into our scenario analysis. It's not going into the large language model, which is just understanding what is your question, getting the data that we have access to on our system, and then giving it to you in an answer that you can understand. So the large language model is just understanding your question and delivering the answer. The data we already have, that's market data, which we would compare to anyone.
Got about a minute left. Jonathan from Julius Baer.
So you mentioned about the traceable market data itself. Have you seen any challenge around hallucination with your models and the approach and engine you have?
So I think it's one of the beauties of Toggle AI. We've been around since 2019, and when the founders, when we started, we wanted it to be chat-based, but the large language model, they weren't advanced enough. So we built what we think is a beautiful point-and-click system. Our chat will only be able to give an answer that you can get from the system today, and that system's own is point-and-click again, but that's only tied to market data. So we spend a lot of time understanding how to fail gracefully. What happens if Adobe beats earnings? We have the answer. What's a great dim sum restaurant? We say this is not in our system because it's not on the underlying knowledge graph.
We've got about 20 seconds for a really quick question. Aman from State Street.
Do your clients need to procure their own market data, or Thomson Reuters has actually allowed you to acquire the data once and use it for all your client base?
Really quickly.
Yeah, so it gets very complicated in terms of redistribution of data. We can only redistribute refined data. So what we take the data and what we produce is all we can give. We can't give the raw data.
Unfortunately, judges, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. Toggle
Thank you, Jasmine.
AI.
Thank you all.
From Japan. Thank you. All right, we're going to move from the category of elevating customer experience now to our next category. This is enhancing operational efficiency. And to present first from Singapore, please welcome Staple AI. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you.
Feeling good?
Do with another coffee.
You've had coffee?
Yeah.
I've had two. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm the CEO of Staple. We are a Singapore-based company specializing in AI for document and data processing, automation, and analysis. Before I tell you a bit what we do, I'll tell you why we do what we do. Data is one of the most valuable assets for any organization, but only if it is readily accessible and ready to use. Unfortunately, most data, particularly document-based data, is not readily accessible or usable. We found that this was particularly severe in Asia as the largest geography by GDP and population, but in many respects the most fragmented. Many different countries have many different ways of doing business and transacting across borders, particularly in financial services. And this is still a very human challenge. We still have a lot of people manually processing, reconciling, extracting, and entering data. So our solution addresses this by capturing data from various documents in over 190 languages today. We extract data without the need for rules or templates. But that's not enough. We also do the reconciliation, we find patterns, and we automate the workflows to then enter into various systems of record. Very simple example here on screen. This is a simple Japanese invoice, but you can see we're extracting the data without any templating and then translating it instantly into Japanese. This is the basic, translating into English, sorry. But this is the basic application. Many of our customers just use this, but many take it a step further and process hundreds of thousands of documents every month, reconciling multiple documents at once. So we find the commonalities, we find the inconsistencies, we find the anomalies and flag them. And in the financial services context, this could apply in insurance, for instance. We process a claim, we process supporting documentation, and then we also check that that is permissible under the policy of that particular policyholder. So this involves all sorts of cross-checking words around ailments or conditions or illnesses, but is also readily applicable in other areas like in banking, AML, KYC. We can then also search the repository of documents using our LLM capabilities over a customer's entire repository of documentation to ask questions, say, has this policyholder or has this policyholder's family had a history of a particular sickness or a particular condition, or has this person been associated with a certain AML transaction? We are currently used by users in 56 countries, like I said, with 190 languages supported today. We do support a number of different financial institutions, banks, insurers, KYC and software platforms who in turn support the banking and insurance industry, but we've also started supporting non-financial services customers as well. We grew over 750% over the past 18 months in terms of revenue, and we continue to do so. There are a range of financial services use cases that we can work with using our proprietary technology, which is powered by a number of different AI techniques, including LLMs, and also in the non-financial services space. So I am one of the co-founders. My co-founder, Josh, is a PhD computer scientist. He did study here in Singapore. He does give the occasional guest lecture here in Singapore. We're also supported by our CRO, who was previously the COO of a small company called Concur in Asia. Thank you very much. Happy to take any questions. But please note, I am the least technical in the company, so please be gentle.
All right, thank you. Stable AI. Now we've got 4 minutes with the judges. Our 4 minutes starts now. Judges, do we have a question? Aman from State Street, please.
What is the process of onboarding a brand new document?
So we have a repository of existing models that we already deploy for new customers. But if there is a new document, we can now enter plain language prompts to tell the AI what is of interest to the user. And the advantage of our approach over a GPT approach is that we work with the customer to provide the outputs in a very structured and consistent format. So, unlike a GPT interaction where you have some temperature, where there's a bit of creativity in the response, we have very fixed outputs that the customers need for their particular workflow. There is the ability to query individual documents at once with GPT, but we do thousands of documents at a time. So usually it's asking what the outputs are, what is necessary for a particular workflow, but the training process can be done in under a day.
Do we have another question, judges? I think that was pretty comprehensive. You sure, okay. Judges? Last call. Professor Eric of NTU, yes.
So just wondering if there's anything in the back end that also do some sorts of reasoning, like taking into account the fact that this maybe is health related. So, for example, when it comes in a completely new form, maybe can look at similar forms and do something about it.
Yeah, so one of the things we do also is that everything that is processed is verifiable in that we can check where this data came from, how the AI came to a particular response. So you're not just getting blind feedback, or there's no risk of hallucinations. So we can verify that by tracking back the history of the training. But there is, yes, ability to upload other fixed data sets against which the AI can check. So it could be health conditions, it could be a list of counterparties, it could be a list of other factual hard truths that the AI has to cross-check against in that matching and processing process.
We've got about a minute and a half. Aman from State Street.
Once you extract your data from the document, how do you get it into your database? Do you also act as a data warehouse, or are there connectors available?
We do act as a data warehouse in some respects. So we do obviously allow customers to search over the entire repository of their documents and extract intelligence. We can generate graphical responses immediately. So there's no need for any kind of BI plugin. I didn't show that here, but that's something that we do now. Some customers prefer that. They prefer interacting with our UI and using that interface to extract intelligence and insights rather than their other systems, which are a little bit less friendly to use. Also, we have the direct hard truths of the documents that we've extracted from. It is up to the customer. Sometimes they export directly into their other systems of record, or they can use the system as is.
We've got about 45 seconds left for a really quick question. Judges, we've got Dr. Lee from MES. Really quick one, please.
A quick question. I have talked with a number of banks, and their feedback for this kind of OCR solution is actually the accuracy. Okay, I just wondering, do you have done some benchmark comparison between your solution with some state-of-the-art solutions?
Yeah. Depends on the kind of accuracy they're talking about. Was it character level, field level, document level? We benchmark ourselves on the latter two, so field level or document level. The highest we've achieved at the field level has been 99.6% over a year of usage post-training. That's just in English. For multi-language, it's probably closer to lower 90s.
Fortunately, that's time is up. 4 minutes over. Thank you very much, Staple AI. Thank you, judges.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to reset the time. And next up from Singapore, please welcome Prince AI. Hello. Feeling good? Okay. Ready?
Yes.
4 minutes starts now. All the best.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Partha, and I'm from Pines AI, and we're here to talk about how we're going to make our future clients in these 6 halls over here more productive using our generative AI solutions. But first, we all know this feeling, right? Like every day in the morning, we get to work, we open our devices, and we are bombarded with information. And there's a simple reason for that, because information doubles every 12 hours today. And this too much information is resulting in a significant productivity loss, as much as 7% of the global GDP. Now, experts over here and my fellow co-founders all know that generative AI can solve this problem. We can boost productivity by as much as 40 to 50%, but only if we're able to share all of our data with the AI, all our private and confidential data, which often also is the most strategic data. Now, this is where the problems really begin. FIs are keen on adopting Gen AI solutions, but they're also concerned with privacy and precision. So you have two camps. You can either use an existing model, a web-based AI, and the API in order to build your productivity suites on top of it, or you can spend a lot of money and hire a lot of experts in order to develop your own ring-fence solution, which is essentially your own private model. Or, that's where we come in, a significantly enhanced model with proprietary and pre-trained data, which is ready to deploy in your ring-fenced environment. It offers you all the substantial benefits and some more. So how does it really work? Pines is more than an LLM. It is corporate ready. So it is a stack of LLMs plus various services, which essentially we bring into your data environment. So instead of your data leaving and going and working with an AI outside with an API, the AI comes into your data ring-fenced environment. It's your data working with your AI. And on top of all of it, how does it really work for productivity? Once your data is hosted on your platform, you can build various apps around it. And if you don't want to do it, we have our modular UI interface with pre-made apps, and the library just keeps growing, where you can plug all of your data. You can look within the information, within the organizational repository of information to draw insights from it. Or you can go and plug into your external APIs, whether it is Bloomberg or MarketWatch or any other API, and you can draw insights into your organization. And from day one, essentially your sales team, your advisors, your compliance teams, and your legal teams are able to get that productivity boost. Now, we know how important hallucination problems are, and arresting it is. So no matter what response we give, we always pinpoint exactly the place where this information came from, whether it was from inside or from outside. We currently work with clients in insurance, research, and KYC AML teams for diverse cases, from claims to asset management research to pattern recognition. And these use cases are just growing for us. As far as our business model is concerned, we have two models. For large enterprises, we deploy on-prem in geo-fenced cloud. Or for smaller enterprises, our model is small enough to be put on a high-performance workstation. And in fact, during the SFF, we are launching our SaaS model for smaller financial institutions. Between Calvin and I, we have been startup founders earlier. We've had successful exits. Calvin's been a Singapore Air Force pilot, is a programming polyglot and currently pursuing his AI PhD. I have run commercial teams across Southeast Asia and South Asia and have been in corporate innovation. And along with all our teams and our advisors, we hope to convert this entire SFF into our clients. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is Pines AI. I do believe you're going to bring your co-founder on stage. Oh, don't you hold on to that. Let's bring your co-founder on stage.
Hello, everyone.
And then come right beside each other. We've got 4 minutes with the judges. Time starts now. Judges would like to go first. Dr. Leslie from AI Singapore.
I'd like to understand, so you are, your proposition is that we will build a model for you so that you can have control over it, right? The pre-trained model, the underlying LLM, it costs a lot to train. So how do you make money because it's going to cost a lot to train? Are you just going to use Llama 2 or Mistral and build on top of it? Second, the key thing here is you bring data to fine-tune. How many, so there is not compute, it's the cost of the data. How many billion tokens do you have for each of the sectors that you are targeting?
Right, so maybe I can take that question. So to the first question, the question about the model. The small models actually takes quite an insignificant, I would say insignificant, but not a lot of amount of compute. And we use methods such as, so basically we look at what the base case of use case that it can achieve already, and then we decide how far, how deep we want to go. So we do a multiple fine tune and weights merging. If it's not a technique that people adopt right now, but we have a methodology for doing that, that affects to a significant amount of neurons changed without a full pre-training, avoiding the cost. On that second question that you have, we have a pipeline of data cleaning, processing, deduplication already. So if you understand the of models in terms of like how it rates data, it generalizes across it pretty well. So the first part is that we just need generally clean data sitting on top of a model that you will fine tune. That's actually kind of good enough. And we have a I don't know data set, which then allows it to not depend on the data that is provided to train, which is just ground knowledge, but that at inference time is provided with the same knowledge and on top of it, new knowledge that the corporate may introduce over time.
We've got about 2 minutes.
Yeah,
please continue.
Yeah, so that reduces hallucination and reduces the training costs.
We've got Dr. Lee from MAS, yes.
Just now you mentioned your solution can be used for AML, right?
Yep.
How you get the data to train, AML data to train your model, because it is a very sensitive data. How you encourage banks to share with you these AML data?
Oh, we don't. So that's actually exactly, you're helping us pitch again. So we don't take the data out of the bank at all. Like we actually take the AI into the bank. So when banks are using to query their own database, they can now use the AI in order to query their AML databases. We never get that particular data out at all at any given point of time.
So basically, you are not training or refining a new LLM with AML data. You just use a generic model as an interface to allow the banks to talk with their AML data. Is it?
So there's some training required in order for it to understand the ground truths, the acronyms, and how the process works. On top of that, most of the AM data is contemporary in nature. It changes from time to time and it needs to be updated. Those data, you don't want it to go into the AI. So there are two separate buckets of knowledge that the AI will draw from, its own as well as external.
We've got only time
Training it to interpret and retrieve the external data.
Final question, really quick one from Aman of State Street.
Are there any custom hardware requirements to be able to procure you? So do I need to buy GPUs to be able to deploy Pints?
On premise for a workstation, yes, you need to buy GPU. It can go as low as consumer grade ones that's readily available at a very low cost.
I do believe that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. Thank you, judges. Once again, this is Pints AI. Thank you. All right, next up to present, once again, this is the Enhancing Operational Efficiency category. Please welcome from South Africa, we've got Finance GPT. Hello.
Hi.
Are you ready?
Yes, very ready.
Okay, you got this. 4 minutes starts now.
All right. Good day, everyone. My name is Piwangambule. I am the co-founder of Finance GPT Labs. We're on a mission of closing financial data gaps for generative AI use cases, especially in frontier markets. My co-founder, Sibo, is a quantitative analyst and corporate treasury by profession. She studied metallurgy and materials engineering, and she's had to skill up using different programs from ACI, GAP for her to be able to work in the finance space. She spends 80% of her time navigating through different tools, through different spreadsheets and different data sets, trying to make sense of investment information so that she can make investment decisions. And she's only left with 20% of her time for actual portfolio management. In the year 2022, we took a decision to work on a project that would help us build AI models that she could be able to use to make her job easier. So in 2023, we launched our AI platform, Finance GPT, which has helped our users increase their productivity by 37%. Our model, our platform gives them access to models that are trained specifically for frontier market finance use cases. Our users have an option of using different sets of tools, but they have to move from different tool to another tool to be able to have an end-to-end experience. And we've attempted to bring this together. And we've taken their feedback to develop a solution that we'll be presenting today. So we've built an AI platform that leverages AI to analyze portfolios, predict prices, and recommend investment strategies for local, using local market data, especially in frontier markets. So what happens is that the model uses machine learning and quantitative analysis, but then it also leverages the models that we've built to be able to determine when a stock that is from frontier markets is underpriced or undervalued, or when it's overvalued, so that investors are able to make the best decision. So we have a very seamless adoption strategy where there's no need to talk to someone to be able to get onboarded. And we allow our users to connect with different channels that they use to be able to bring data into the platform. And then we also allow them to request for an installation on-prem. We take data protection very seriously. Disclosure of identity is voluntary on our platform. We use encryption for stock data. And we do not save analysis and personalized models on the platform. So the market is expected to reach 25.2 billion in 2033, and we happen to be part of the wave. We have a business model that allows SaaS, white labeling, and installation on-prem. We are currently in a process of raising a 1.5 million seed to build models for some of the frontier market regions. All right.
Thank you very much. This is Finance GPT. 4 minutes is up. It goes really quickly, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, we got 4 minutes now with the judges. Come, don't be shy. Stand up front. Okay, judges. 4 minutes starts now. Who would like to go first? Dr. Geraldine from GXS.
So you mentioned that it takes in external data. Does it also account for the data processing coming in from different data structures from your external data sources?
For the training.
Yeah, does it do data processing as well as part of your platform?
Oh, yes. So it handles the entire data science.
From external data sources as well?
External. So this is for traders and asset managers. So it brings in stock market data. And then for the generative AI models, that is trained on data sources that we find on the ground based on research in frontier markets.
Professor Lee from A-Star.
Okay, I think it's a very interesting talk. 2 questions. Number 1, it seems some of the news, unstructured data are quite important for your prediction. The second question is, how accurate is your model? If a customer, based on your advice and recommendation, at the end of the day, is not so accurate, what is going to happen? Thank you.
All right, okay. So the prediction on the machine learning, it hits, so we've controlled it not to go below 0.7, but it performs at 0.97. But then the most important one is the insights that come then from the generative AI model for either if it's overvalued or undervalued. So the accuracy at the moment is at 70% because we are still collecting more and more information, because in this market, there's a problem of transparency. So we're in the process of trading.
Hello. Do you have a follow-up question?
Are you using the news data and so on?
Yes, we are using news data from newspapers and not only online sources.
Got about minute 45. Dr. Lee from MAS.
machine learning or time series analysis or quant analysis has been used for trading at least more than 10 years. I have seen a number of hedge funds actually use it very successfully. Also, like the trend analysis, news analysis has been there for also more than 10 years from Bloomberg, from Thomson Reuters. I just don't very clear what's the differentiator between your solution versus what the hedge fund currently is using.
So there's a missing gap when it comes to frontiers, developing countries, because of the transparency issues, because of there's a lack of access to data. So what we've done is that we've put it upon ourselves to try and dig where the data is hidden and train a model that can work together with the models that this institution use when they want to invest in those specific markets.
We've got about 45 seconds left for a really quick question. Professor Eric from NTU.
So you talk about transparency a lot, but how do you ensure that the output is explainable when you're using tools that are not really explainable?
We do have a list of our sources, so our users know what the sources are. We try to find this from people that would get audited data sources as well. But we do declare who our sources are. We don't use a black box model.
But the problem is not only the data source. The problem is how the model generates the investment suggestion. That's the problems the investors cannot accept.
We shared in the technical meeting, but we do reveal that it's not a secret. We have a combination of algorithms that we use.
Unfortunately, judges, that's all the time we have. Thank you once again. Thank you from South Africa, Finance GPT. All right, don't so stingy with your claps, lah. It's quite difficult to come on stage and pitch, you know. All right, now from China, please welcome IceKredit. Hello.
Hi.
你好. Okay, 4 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, your time starts now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hao Yun from IceKredit. Our company is a fintech company that will leverage the cutting-edge technology and bring it into the industry. Here's our latest invitation. It's a virtual assistant. It's to streamline data retrieval and command execution. It's based on a technology called large language model-based agent framework. Why we need it? Here is some common question and problem we have faced in the workplace. We spend too much time finding the correct answer in the enormous database, and we have to do too many redundant workflow. And when we face the chaos in the massive database, even if we get the data, we have to jump from the platform to do the data analysis and model building. It's quite time consuming, and here's how our solution can solve it. We have 4 modules. The first one is document search. It can give a synthesized solution and offer, and sorry, the slides, I don't know why it's happened. And it can automate the workflow. And it can generate SQL, it can query the data. And if you have to query the data, you can push it to the platform, which is our internal platform that can use for the analysis and model building. And I will use 3 metaphors to further illustrate our solution. In my opinion, most solution in the market is based on large language model. It's like a brain in a vat. It can think, it can respond, but it cannot do execution. And there's the upgraded version called agent. It can execute commands, but it's with limited tools, and it can only execute some commands. But our agent framework is a collaboration of the team of agents with their expertise, like secretary and data scientist. And they work together with the toolkits, can do some complicated work like project. And we have enabled them to have memory to enhance the user ability. And also we have control the data pool to do not let any sensitive data to flow into the framework. And also we have a regulator in the character pool to further restrict the data privacy. And here's what we got. There's a significant time reduction in retrieving information that in our company, and also save many times to searching data, and also to reduce learning cost with the solution. Here are 3 key competitive for our company. It's very easy to adopt because it's a middleware and it's scalable with modules. And also, we offer private network connection. It's localized, deployed large language model based on the framework, and it's cost reduction because we have experience and we have already on trial. Our future plan is look like this. We are now at a stage of prototyping. Is when we apply our system in our own company. Our next step will be commercialization. It's how we use the solution to our partner company. And third step will be standardization. It's how we packed our solution in a standardized framework. And the final stage will be customization. It's how we dive into different industry and give tailored solution for their business and their needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. IceKredit. Okay, that's done. 4 minutes with the judges. Time starts now. Judges, we have a question. We have one for Dr. Leslie of AI Singapore. Please.
Can I understand your value proposition? Is it something like this? You've trained a virtual assistant. Right now, it probably is chat. No voice yet, right? So it's chat. Yep. And basically, you have a lot of data, SQL code. And the virtual assistant can help you to understand, write SQL code, understand the data, maybe do some visualization, sorry. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you differentiate against GPT-4 code interpreter?
Our solution is more like a framework. There's to deploy localized, so we do not need to send the data to outside source. And it can connect with different internal platform, but not just external environment. So like if the company do have their internal data analysis platform, we can support it and to connect the data silos between the internal usage.
We've got a question now from Jonathan from Julius Baer.
So I understand the concepts of agents. Is it a templatized agents that you provide, or is it one where it enables us or enables the user to be able to customize and create their own agents in a low code, no code kind of approach?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not a template agent. It's more like an agent framework. So based on the business needs and the uniqueness of the industry, we can do their own framework. Like we are just building the building blocks of a building, but not the engine of it. So we can suit each industry needs and business needs. It's scalable.
Sorry, and a follow-up question on this. Is this something that has to be done by the company, or is it something that IceKredit has that ability to actually customize for the client?
We can offer a customized solution because we have some machine learning and artificial algorithm to adhere to the compliance requirement. You know, the framework actually cannot guarantee the security of the data, so we need to set the filter to not let the sensitive data to flow into the framework to be exposed to the public.
Got a minute 30 left. Judges, do you have another question? Professor Eric from NTU.
So who decides which agent to call in place? Is there a super agent, or is it part of the LLM task to decide which agent to call into action?
Yeah, it's like an operating system. So there will be a core agent in the agent framework. They will assign to separate the task into subtasks and let the subtask into the different agent and let the agent do the work together.
What if there's conflicts between agents?
Conflict? I would say there's a strength of the idea. So there's a role. So there will be a key leader in the agent team to overcome the difficulty in pushing that idea to others.
We've got about 40 seconds left. Time for a really quick question. Judges, do we have one final one for IceKredit? Aman from State Street.
What's the credit angle to all of this? Because it looks like a generic component which can aggregate data. So where's credit?
Credit?
Yeah.
Can you please be...
Sorry, so based on your pitch, it looks like it is a generic mechanism to be able to obtain knowledge base based on unstructured data across your firm. So the name of your firm is IceKredit. I was just trying to understand what is the credit angle.
Oh, credit is our origin business. It's our risk management. So it's how we to do the adhering to the compliance requirement is to filter out all the sensitive data. So it's credit. Not to let the sensitive data flow into the framework.
Unfortunately, judges, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. IceKredit. Thank you. All right, this next pitch is the final one for the category of enhancing operational efficiency. From Singapore, please welcome Indy. Hello.
Yes.
Are you nervous? No, you're fine. Okay, 4 minutes. All the best. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shabir Abid. I'm CEO at Indy. And we'll be talking about how Indy has helped reduce underwriting effort by over 70%. So how does it work in countries which do not have access to a system like SingPass? Typically, the customer has to carefully upload the documents. Even if part of the process is digitized, let's say for identity documents, asset documents and income data is typically still processed manually. The underwriters take several days to arrive at a decision. With Indy, what happens is the customers can upload the documents how they wish. We automatically recognize it, segregate it, pull out the data, prepare the summary, and send it to the underwriter in a cohesive report. So what have we seen happen? In the past 9 months, our system has been used to process over 60,000 cases. And with a mix of efficiency improvements and providing clearer data, we've already reduced the turnaround time from 4 days to 3, and we are on the roadmap to bringing it down to 2. If you look at the insurance underwriting software market as a whole, it is anyway a multi-billion-dollar market. And even if you look at just the incremental spend in the APAC region, the projection is that there is going to be around $600 million of spend just in the next couple of years. So the potential is definitely without question. So why Indy? The first thing is that our proprietary models allow customers to have tremendous control over their information and how they manage it. We have some level of forensics that also happens on the documents that get sent out. We are extremely easy to integrate, and we give tremendous flexibility on how they consume our APIs. So our roadmap over the next 5 years is to evolve from a pure data processing firm into a more comprehensive insurance data management ecosystem for a company, which means that the key pillars of the insurance process, which is product design, underwriting, and claims management, the information within them feeds into each other and strengthens each element of the process. With a strong technical team of AI and data scientists, with only 3 non-technical team members, myself included, it gives us the confidence of executing on that vision. Sorry, and one more thing. Couldn't resist. Indy is just not into insurance underwriting. Our proprietary AI solution, as I mentioned before, means that we have vertical solutions in identity verification, payables, contracts management, so on and so forth. An example that we are particularly proud of is that one where we take a 1,000+ page dossier. We segregate it into over 100 individual document types. This is a mortgage document, as an example, a US mortgage transaction. Then from those 140 unique document types, we extract over 300 specific data points, and that entire information set is provided to the customer. We have been fortunate to work with both large corporations as well as the cutting-edge startups of today's time. In short, if you were to summarize, Indy is all in the business of making sure that hunting and finding information does not take away from an individual actually delivering what they need to. Thank you, and happy to hear any questions.
Thank you very much, Indy.
Thank you.
All right. Now we've got 4 minutes with the judges. Reset the clock. Time starts now. Judges who would like to go first. We've got a question from Dr. Lee of MES.
Sure. If I understand correct, I think the key value of your solution is to extract data from document, is it?
As of now, yes.
Okay. Then same question as asked the previous one. Have you done a benchmark comparison with other solutions?
Sure. So we have a human in the loop process because our data sources are not just machine PDFs, they are scanned documents, dot matrix layouts, even screenshots. So our out-of-the-box blended accuracy is in the range of 87 to 89%. With our human in the loop process, that brings it up to above 99%. So what we have seen in terms of value is that the data extraction team on the ground sees a 3 to 4 times productivity boost when it comes to processing this information.
We've got about 3 minutes left on the clock. Judges, do we have another question? Prof. Eric from NTU.
What about the robustness? So if I have 2 documents that have different information about the same item, how is that managed by the system? Does it raise a flag? Does it fix the problem? Does it randomly pick one of the 2 values?
So if I understood the question correctly, is it about...
Like in the example that you just gave us about the mortgage, what if there are 2 documents that maybe are misdated and they have conflicting information about the same item?
Okay. So for that particular use case, we haven't done that level of triaging and information correlation. For our income analysis, for example, we take bank statements as well as payroll stubs, salary slips. So if the salary information or the employee information does not correlate with the amounts received in the bank statements, we flag elements such as those.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Judges, do we have another question? Aman from State Street.
For the use case around insurance underwriting, are you sharing data across different banks? So if you've got 10 clients and they've got data for like personally identifiable information on certain clients, is that being shared using your platform across all the banks?
Okay, so I'll answer the question in 2 parts. First is every client's personally identifiable information is completely walled off within their ecosystem. The second thing is that we also have very strong data scrubbing protocols. We ourselves are ISO 27001 certified, and so we have clients that ask us to scrub data every 30 days. So any PII beyond 30 days is automatically deleted anyway.
We've got about 1:10 left. Judges, are we satisfied? Do we have another question for Indy? I think the judges look very satisfied. Last call, last call. All right. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Indy.
much.
Thank you. And that rounds up the category for enhancing operational efficiency. So this is the MAS Global FinTech Hackcelerator Demo Day. We've seen 10 of our 19 finalists from all over the world. They've come to Singapore to present their pitches. And we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back at 3:20 right here at the talent stage. And we'll have our final 9 finalists pitch. So we'll see you soon. I think we're going to let the judges have a quick bite and then a quick lunch to you as well. We'll see you back once again at 3:20 p.m. Thank you. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. Walking around. Come and join us. We're here at the talent stage. And this is the second and final half of the MAS Global FinTech Hackcelerator 2023 Demo Day. It is powered by Oliver Wyman in partnership with AI Singapore. My name is Yasmin, and I'm delighted to be back as host. So this program aims to look for innovative and market-ready AI solutions to transform the financial services industry. And we've already seen 10 pitches across 2 categories. We've got 9 left, and these are our 19 finalists who have flown in from all around the world to present their presentations. And of course, with us, we've got a wonderful panel of judges to introduce them once again. Please welcome Dr. Lee Shu-Chin, Head of AI Development Office from the FinTech and Innovation Group of Monetary Authority of Singapore. Hello. We've got Zona, Partner, Financial Services, Data and Analytics of Oliver Wyman. Dr. Leslie Teo, Senior Director of AI Products of AI Singapore. Professor Ng Si Keong, Director of AI Technology of AI Singapore. Professor Eric Cambria, Professor and Provost Chair, School of Computer Science and Engineering of Nanyang Technological University. We've got Dr. Lee Xiao Lee, Department Head and Principal Scientist, Agency for Science, Technology and Research, A*STAR. With us also, we've got Aman Thin, Global Chief Architect and Chief Technology Officer of Alpha Platform of State Street. We've got Dr. Geraldine Wong, Chief Data Officer of GXS Bank. And last but not least, Jonathan Chan, Head of Global Innovation of Julius Baer. Welcome back, judges. I hope you had a nice lunch, revived, rejuvenated. Your water has been refreshed. Once again, if you just joined us, we are going to have 4 minutes of presentation, after which 4 minutes with the judges. All right? Good luck to all our finalists. And now to our next category. This is strengthening risk, compliance, and fraud monitoring. And first up from Singapore, please welcome Flagright. Hello. Have you had your lunch yet?
Yes.
Okay, good. Are you ready?
Yes.
Well, Field, you got 4 minutes. Your time starts now.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Baran. I'm co-founder and CEO of Flagright. Today, I'm going to tell you about our generative AI applications for AML compliance operations. Before I dive deeper, Flagright is a centralized, no-code, AI-powered platform for fintechs and banks to prevent financial crime. The problem we are attacking for this competition is that financial crime investigations take too long. And as a result, fintechs and banks cannot scale their volumes and grow without hiring a lot more people proportionally into these departments, which increases the cost base. There are a lot of reasons for this, but the top reasons are siloed data, the fact that people have to use multiple tools and train themselves in it, which makes them inherently inefficient, and the fact that investigations require data processing and manipulation all the time, which is a great use case for generative AI and LLMs. Now, when we look at how we are different, we are building our platform on top of a centralized data infrastructure, which helps us maximize the performance of LLMs and generative AI infrastructure. Obviously, this frees up a lot of funds for compliance innovation for financial institutions. And as a result, we can drive investigation productivity by 80% faster on average. AI forensics delivers unmatched capabilities because we built it on top of powerful data pipelines and a data processing infrastructure with LLMs. We also gather data automatically from external sources to double down on our data centralization approach, which makes us a lot more effective. And obviously, we had to think about data privacy and security built in from day one. Our product is already live, and it's in beta with multiple customers globally, including the ones in Europe, which also showcases that we crack down on GDPR issues. In terms of the founding team, I'm the CEO, and my co-founder, Madhu, CTO. We have a lot of experience in heavily regulated industries like military intelligence, insurance, payments, and other FIs. We built these tools at some of these companies ourselves for investigative tooling and to prevent financial crime. We launched Flagright 1.5 years ago, and now we are on 6 continents in terms of customer presence. We have a booth at Hall 3, 3J17. We are going to show you a demo now, but we are going to intentionally cut it short. If you are curious, stop by, and I will give you a personal demo. Thank you.
Introducing Flagright's AI Forensics. Flagright's AI Forensics enables fintechs and banks to utilize large language models and other cutting-edge AI in their AML operations securely. Analysts can query using natural language to fetch data from Flagright's centralized data platform, receiving responses and insights instantly. AI Forensics also provides an autopilot feature that automatically investigates alerts and offers recommendations based on historical data patterns. Let's look at how this works. We're at the Flagright's case management page. Let's go to My Alerts from here. Now, let's select an alert triggered by a high-velocity rule. You can start the alert investigation by clicking on the Forensics button to the right, which opens up an immersive investigative experience. Down here, the AI automatically recommends data fields that you might need to check. This recommendation is provided based on historical investigative patterns, user behavior, and alert data. You can use the fields here directly or search for any data you want using natural language in the search bar below. Alternatively, you can use the autopilot feature. Let's try that. With autopilot, AI Forensics automatically does a preliminary investigation of the case and provides you with results and recommendations.
Unfortunately, judges, that's all the time we have for the presentation, but we do have 4 minutes Q&A, starting with Dr. Lee of MAS.
I will ask you a very tough question because this is my area. For all AML, the key challenge is the data. and also very sensitive data. How you convince the banks to share with you the data, AML data, to fine-tune your model? Second, what's the key challenge for AML? Tell me.
First question is easy because we haven't been able to figure that out, convince banks to give us the data because we are cloud native. They don't want the data to leave their, what is it called? The sellers, right? The data centers. Although we invested a lot into positive signaling, right? Just like SOC 2 Type 2 certified, ISO 27K, data privacy, encryption, at rest, at transit, all of those. But still, we understand they are processing and hosting a lot of sensitive data, and it's their name on the line, right? So they don't want to trust a brand new startup and hand over the data. So we are also, the reason we are here is because we want to engage in a proof of concept or a pilot, right? Even if it's a very limited scope, so we can also learn and showcase certain capabilities and fill in any gaps. So I didn't answer your question, but it's something that we couldn't figure out still.
Dr. D has a follow-up question.
Okay. It will be very challenging for you to convince the banks to share the AML data. Trust me, they talk with me a lot. Second, I want to share with you, okay, suggestion for your company in the future. Focus on the pattern detection, AML pattern detection. That is the real future of AML, instead of focus on transaction monitoring. Transaction monitoring has been there for years and years. That's a suggestion. But back to the key challenge, which is convince the banks to share the data with you.
Thank you.
I think the banks are smiling as well here. Do you have any questions, judges? Jonathan from Julius Baer?
Yeah, no, I'm curious about how, right now you build a model itself, and what is the current accuracy or efficiency rate of that model itself based on the pilots that you've shared?
Yeah, so the top problems we are experiencing is there's still like certain types of hallucination happening, right? Some of the accuracy, we actually don't use LLM for everything. We have multiple algorithms for factual stuff. We calculate it and plug it into the narrative itself. But there are still certain cases. So we track, for example, did the human have to change a specific number? And we have this feedback loop. So we just like extract that, calculate it on the side because we cannot necessarily track every single use case, right? It's all about we attack the most common ones, and over time we learn more and bridge the gaps.
Okay, now I want to learn more.
We've got Aman from State Street with a question.
Is there any training that you need to do on top of your models, or is it entirely RAG-based?
So we have something standard that we can deploy. Like I can give you access in the next 10 minutes, and you can play around with some demo data. But most companies want us to train, based on their internal procedures, policies. This is how I want the narrative to be written. Right now, maybe we say, okay, user details, background, investigation, conclusion, etc. Maybe they want a different format at a certain length, so we can train and prompt all of these specifically, and we can say, write it in this format specifically.
We've got about 30 seconds left for a really quick question. Judges, do we have a final one?
So you mentioned you already have some customers. Can you share with us what are you doing with them?
Yeah, they are heavily leveraging the narrative writers because every single case disposition, even if it's a false positive, they have to outline what they've done. So in a single click, instead of the analyst writing it 10 minutes, every single case, every single alert, in a single click, the narrative copilot writes it in 10 seconds for them, and then review and validate. That's it.
I think that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. Judges, thank you once again. Flagright from Singapore. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. If you're walking around, we've got lots of seats. Come and join us. This is the MAS Global FinTech Hackcelerator 2023 Demo Day. We're in the second half of our 19 finalists. They've come in from all around the world to pitch their presentations. Next up from Switzerland, please welcome Squirro. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. No jet lag, I hope.
I'm actually based in Singapore,
Oh,
but
so
the
definitely no
company
jet
is
lag.
headquartered in Switzerland, but yeah, no jet lag.
All right. You ready?
Yes, I'm
Your
ready.
4 minute starts now.
Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Moritz Müller, and it's my pleasure to introduce you today to our Squirrel Risk Insight solution, and especially the technology regulation monitoring solution that we have developed as part of this accelerator. Let me start with a question. If you go around and ask organizations and I ask it to you, how many regulatory authorities or regulations do you actually need to keep up with? And it's a lot, because there are a lot of regulators out there. And the biggest fear they have, they miss something. Maybe one of your applications is not following one of these regulations. What happens? Well, I don't want to go into detail, but it can be pricey. This challenge is exactly what we want to address here. And for that, we have leveraged our Squirrel Insights Engine platform. Squirrel Insights Engine is an AI platform. We focus very much on text analytics, search, machine learning, and lately integration of generative AI. When we talk about generative AI, it's about how we pair the large language model with our search engine. So we've been doing enterprise search for years now. It is a challenge on its own, but bringing it together with generative AI enables you to do something called retrieval augmented generation. And I believe that is the key, actually, in the next 2 years to make it usable in enterprise. But let me focus here on how we actually do this for technology regulation monitoring. For the prototype, we go through 3 steps. We start first by saying, look, what are all the data sources that we need to connect? Where are all the regulations coming from? So we build out data connectors. We go and crawl websites from MAS, for instance. We subscribe to the circulars. And we talk to our corporate champion, UBS, on where do they get the information from. So we connected this. In the next step is about how to understand it before you can then use it. So how do we understand that piece? We look at the content analysis. And for that, we process the documents, for instance, that we get, the regulatory documents. We used our knowledge from our European Central Bank project, where we have already built out some NLP models to classify certain categories. We know how that works. We retrained those models for specific parts here. So we look specifically here at technology regulations. And then we automatically highlight the text pieces. We categorize the paragraph saying this talks about this talks about that. And with an internal mapping later on in an organization or a bank, we can then understand how which regulation is relevant for which application that your project owner needs to look after. And we turn the whole pull around to a push. You don't have to go out anymore and find the regulations. We automatically get them in, we classify them, and we notify you once there's something relevant for you. That's only part of the project. The next part, of course, and I'm not going to miss out on LLM, is how can we actually make use of our retrieval augmented generation technology for this. So we paired our information retrieval stack, which is nothing else than a search engine, if you want to call it, with ChatGPT. We allow you now, when you have a PDF document or thousands of PDF documents, that is actually the challenge. Everyone can do one. We can do millions. You ask a question, for instance, like here in my example, what are MAS penetration testing guidelines? We do a semantic search. We find all the relevant paragraphs in the documents from MAS that are relevant for you. And then we use the large language model to give you an answer. And how do we tackle the hallucination challenge? Compliance, big question, especially for our MAS friends. We make sure that we tell you, look, this is exactly where it comes from. That is what we know with generative AI. We know which part of the page was used to answer that question. Now, with that, we believe we have tackled the 3 challenges that we have heard from UBS that are big challenges that they face on a daily basis. We have automated the aggregation of the regulations. We have automated the risk extraction and notification. And eventually, we built a chat with that data using LLM. And with that, I'm very much looking forward to your questions. And if you want to learn more, visit us at our booth in Hall 4. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Squirrel. Now, we've got 4 minutes with the judges. Time starts now. Who'd like to go first? Aman from State Street.
When the White House came up with the new regulations around trustworthiness on AI, if I was the Squirrel client, how long would it take for that information to feed into Squirrel and for me to receive an alert that I need to do something about it?
5 to 10 minutes.
But it was published on a website which was newly created, which you had not indexed prior. So how does that work?
Monitoring question, right? When do you normally get it? When do you go out and visit it, right? We can automate that, crawl it every single day. There are a limited number of websites that we need to crawl. I would say you have it then, if you set up that crawler to run every day, you have it within a day. The processing on our end is fast. It's a question of how often do you crawl it. But you can also subscribe to notification, for instance, from MAS, the circulars, and so on and so forth. That is then immediately.
We've got a question now from Dr. Leslie of AI Singapore, I believe.
Trying to understand what differentiates you. So you're using RAG, you are using semantic search, and so on and so forth. So how would you explain to me what differentiates you from?
Yeah, thanks. Very good question. And I was warned that this was turned into an LLM discussion. It is a very good question. Everyone does ChatGPT or GPT at the moment. For me, the challenge is the token limit. Everyone out there that we talked to at the moment said, look, we did a prototype, we put in 10 pages of text. It will be more in the future. And that is where we get question answering from. And it's excellent. And everyone asks me, how do I train my model on it? I don't think training the model is still the right question to ask. It should be, how do I make sure that the context is set the right way? We have done 12 years of search. There are only, even Microsoft doesn't have an out-of-the-box retrieval augmented generation product there. We have it. You can go to our website, connect your SharePoint, and within an hour, all of the data is indexed, and you can ask questions on all your data. That, for me, sets us apart. We know how to take the initial question that you ask, find out of thousands of documents the one that they have already used the metadata. It's tagged to Singapore Airlines, it's tagged to MAS. We translate this, tell me about our partner Refinitiv, the news that we get. Summarize me the 3 latest news from Semcorp in Singapore. We translate latest news into a time query, because the LLM doesn't want to know that. It only wants to know for the semantic search, the Semcorp part. And then we make sure we feed the right part, so everything is split into paragraphs as web vectors, and then we use only the relevant pieces to give you an answer. And in the next, just to round this off, in the next, I think, 2 years, for retrieval augmented generation, to make it usable in enterprise, it's the only way that you can guarantee entitlement handling. If you train a model on all your data, no chance you can make sure your employees are not allowed to get an answer from the data that you can. With our technology, with our search, we have that out of the box. It's the only way how you can use the enterprise setup.
We've got a minute left. Dr. Lee from MAS with a question.
Yeah, to me, the biggest challenge for this one is you find the right expert to help you answer the output from the model. Let me explain. Currently, in the banks, they hire the professional compliance people or use a lawyer to interpret the regulation from MS or from other countries. You need a very special expert to really understand this and give the feedback to your error model to retrain or to fine-tune it. How you do that?
I agree with you that you need still an expert on it. The important part here is we are not looking at training the model. Our solution is intended to make sure that you don't need to gather all the information and find what is relevant for you. What we are trying to do is we are trying to make sure we find that information. We're not trying to give you a definitive answer saying this regulation isn't that context relevant to your application. We tell you only this might be relevant. Please have a look.
If without...
Unfortunately, I hate to interrupt, but we've run out of time. That 4 minutes is up.
Thanks
it goes
a lot.
really
Happy
quickly. Thank you, judges.
Later.
Thank you once again,
Thank
Skuro. Thank you. And next up, this is once again for strengthening risk, compliance, and fraud monitoring category. From the States, we have Unity Compliance.
Hey.
Hello. I'm going to ask you the same question. Are you jet lagged?
Not jet lagged.
No, which is great. Okay, 4 minutes. Are you ready?
Yep.
Your time starts now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Omar. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Unity Compliance, and excited to talk to you about a new product that we've been working on, which is creating a new standard in employee marketing material review and surveillance. And so we started off with a mission to try and unify broadly different activities within the compliance function. And we started off working on employee code of ethics. But quickly we found that our customers, our compliance teams, were having large problems with marketing material reviews. So for those who aren't aware, what are marketing materials? Marketing materials are materials that firms need to send out to their customers in order to advertise and market their business. And if you are a regulated financial firm, there are guidelines on what you can and cannot do. So recently in Singapore, there have been consultation papers released by the Monetary Authority of Singapore in order to state what one can do here. And these guidelines are not just, only occurring in Singapore. These are also present in the United States, where actually there's been multiple enforcement actions within the last year, resulting in fines due to things like, putting forward a hypothetical performance without actually indicating that to the consumer. And this is, again, a problem in Europe. It's a problem in the UK. It is really a global problem. Yet firms still cannot control what is being sent to investors. When you think of a large firm, maybe like an insurance firm, they have issues because they want to have localized sales reps who are customizing materials in order to make it more specific to the people they're selling to. This means that there's a lot of materials to review. It also means that there's a lot of surface area for people to go wrong and miss on things. We also fundamentally see that our customers find it difficult to actually just do the review. There's a lot of regulations. There are multiple documents to compare against. It's time-consuming, and you can get things wrong. So we're trying to help. And we've done that in 2 ways so far and have a 3rd way proposed. Firstly, we've built out core workflows to allow employees to submit things to their compliance teams in order to go back and forth and iterate on documents. This is, a relatively simple piece to do, but it's just about having good UX and having good functionality there. But the real kind of crux of what we're trying to do here is our AI content review. And here we generate and pass, marketing material information that comes from our customers, and then review it and check it against guidelines from the relevant regulator, and indeed potentially internal guidelines as well. And off the back of that, we're able to generate output which suggests, what potentially this should look like. So actually just skipping across, if we look here on the left, you can see an email which has been sent out, and once that's passed through through Unity, this comes out and provides a kind of annotated document which shows you, suggestions on what could be improved. It takes in data that's been put into the system in order to suggest, potential improvements, and annotates where there have been issues. The final thing that we're going to do, and what we're starting to work towards, is doing that post-marketing material review surveillance. And so that's integrating in with social media platforms, integrating in with email, in order to monitor in an ongoing way whether or not people have actually sent out the things that have been reviewed and accepted. Just conscious of time, so we currently work with some of the first movers in the space. 10 of our clients are already using us in beta, and we're excited to move into this market. Our team is led by myself and my co-founder, Owen, and we have a fantastic team of engineers from great institutions, and look forward to your questions. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Unity compliance. Okay, we've got 4 minutes now with the judges. Come, scoot over, scoot over. Okay, 4 minutes starts now. Judges, we have a question from, I think, Dr. Lee from MAS.
Yeah, similar question. How you solve the ROI? Because I talk with quite a number of investment firms. For example, yesterday, talked with one hedge fund, and the GSA built a very fancy, similar tool which helped to analyze all the different marketing material. But the hedge fund or the PM reply is, I can read this article during my 2 days weekend. Then question to you is, what is ROI? How you convince the PMs to use it?
So our customer wouldn't really be the PMs, it would be the compliance teams. That's who we're selling to.
Similarly, right?
Yeah, but the compliance teams, I think for them, they take hours and hours and hours to do this, and they get things wrong. And they know that the regulator is coming at them. This is very much born from our customers coming to us and saying that this is a problem, that I spend double-digit hours a week on marketing material reviews. And fundamentally, I've got 50 different rules that I need to check against, and that anything can speed up that process is broadly very beneficial to us. I will say that some of the customers that we have already started working with are smaller funds rather than larger funds who potentially could think about building it in-house. But yeah, I think it's very clear ROI for them in terms of time reduced and risk reduced.
We've got about 2.5 minutes left. Judges, do we have another question for Unity compliance? Professor Eric from NTU.
How do you make sure that your system is not hallucinating when it's generating that text? And also, I saw that there were some comments on a sidebar. Is that how you address explainability? Is there other ways you also work with interpretability of the system?
Yeah. So when we pass the data, we're running our LLM and we're running it through the LLM, we're checking against all of our rules, and then we're generating text off the back of that. And so all the time there is human in the loop. All we're doing is we're presenting basically that second document to our compliance team member, and they're accepting that change or they're rejecting the change. Now, if they accept the change or they reject it, either which way, what we're going to do off the back of that is then retune our model based on their responses. So if we've made a mistake in any place, then that's getting fed back into the model. But fundamentally, they're checking all of our reviews. This isn't an automated approval or denial. This is very much we're a co-pilot to your review.
We've got a question now from Aman from State Street.
How do you define your internal rules? So for my marketing compliance, if I've got 12 commandments that I want everyone to follow, how do I codify it? And then how do you subsequently consume it and use it for the review process?
Yeah. So what we've done in general has been to look at regulatory guidelines. So for our customers in the United States, that's looking at the SEC, and we're interpreting that. And we're interpreting that and training it on a data, or comparing it to a data set. And that's basically through the kindness of our existing customers when they've used our existing tools for kind of manual processes, labeling the data and then seeing whether or not it works and seeing if our prompts are accurate. And so we do the same thing with our customers going forward. We ingest data from them, and then we test it against the commandments that they would put if they have customized ones.
We've got about 40 seconds left. I think Dr. Geraldine from GXS with a question.
In terms of like data privacy regulations as well, do you take that into account, and how do you deal with any conflicting regulations?
Sure. So in terms of data privacy, obviously, is not an on-premise solution by any stretch of the imagination.
I was referring to data privacy regulations in relations to marketing consent, etc.
In marketing consent, if that's a regulation that we're checking for, then we consider that. So that would be something like...
How would you prioritize accordingly with different regulations then?
There's no need to prioritize because we're just checking each piece of text for different rules. So everything gets run through the same... Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, but everything gets...
We've run out of time. 4 minutes is up. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you once again. Unity Compliance, thank you. Next up from Malaysia, please welcome Exponential Digital. Hello. Yeah, it's on. Don't worry. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, mic's up. Ready? You can, whichever part you want to stand. Okay, 4 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon. We are Prescam.ai, the AI vaccine for scams. Your children, who will one day inherit your wealth, will experience financial scams. But in the near future, this might be a good thing. Let me explain. Singaporeans lose $1.3 billion to financial scams in the last 2 years. And contrary to popular belief, 60% of the victims are less than 39 years old. Here's a personal story. My 30-year-old cousin lost $300,000 to a government impersonation scam. The public is not mentally and emotionally prepared enough to face scams alone, and something has to be done. Introducing Prescam.ai, the AI-powered scam simulator. How does it work? Users sign in, they select from a list of available scams that is in the market, and AI interacts with you through a personalized scam simulation. Imagine your guardian angel who's a scammer who teaches you your scams. When users complete the pre-scam, they can share it to protect their family and friends. We support interfaces like WhatsApp, generate simulations from top scams around the world, and allow retraining with new data available in over 50 languages. In short, our solution is easy to adopt, low cost, globally scalable, and future-proof. What if you're a company? No problem, we can pre-scam your employees too. The platform is multi-modal LLM powered, available in multiple languages, and a platform agnostic. Corporates can also train their own AI scammer and customize their flows through our API integration layers. Underneath the hood, Prescam.ai creates unique personalized scam experiences by training scam data on LLMs and convoluted neural networks. So why now? In the past, financial institutions were not liable for customer losses. However, in a landmark decision, UK banks have started making banks liable for losses starting 2024. Following suit, Singaporean banks and even telcos will soon be liable for scams losses based on an announcement by the MAS. How much liabilities will banks face? Financial scams have hit an all-time high. 55 billion was lost last year, an increase of 40% from the previous year. Banks need a more effective way to combat financial scams. And that's where Prescam.ai comes in. We are 9 times more effective than SMS and any notifications that can be blasted out. People who experience scams remember 90% more than what they read. And we've surveyed 100% of people who got scammed, and they said that Prescam would definitely have helped them prevent the issues. We occupy a niche gap between education and fraud detection, and we aim to build a scam prevention ecosystem where AI monitors the internet for new upcoming scams, build up the scam repository, trains new projections and simulations, and triggers notifications to the ecosystem to get alert and get vaccinated. We have a B2B and B2B2C model where we supply AI services across the scam prevention value chain. Firstly, banks can license our platform for their bank customers, while corporates can use our simulation platform to protect their employees. Cybersecurity companies can leverage on our APIs to enrich their existing products and even get access to custom-trained models for on-premise deployments. What is the market potential? We operate within a 40 billion fraud detection and prevention market, and we target 1 billion by 2030. While Asia is a great place to start, we aim to cover Australia, New Zealand, and then drive expansion towards Europe and to the Americas. I hope today you will help us. Help us prevent families from losing their savings. Help us help millions save billions. Help us create a safer future for our children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Exponential Digital, scammers. They should just really get a proper job, isn't it? Recently, I had somebody who was sending out deepfake videos of me trying to get money out of other people. So it's like, I feel you. 4 minutes with the judges now. I think we've got a question from Dr. Leslie from AI Singapore. We're going to bring up your teammate. 2 is better than 1. Dr. Leslie, please.
Don't get me wrong, I love the idea, but I'm worried about the moat, especially given what people like OpenAI are doing. How can you capture the value given that I can create scammers, by myself, right? I don't need to have your service.
So our specialization and differentiation is the models that we create, and we purify and refine to get that experience right. So we see ourselves like an educator, a library of all these scams, and we compile and we have the intellectual property that we keep that other people can leverage on. It doesn't really make sense for the banks to spend an entire team to just do all this, and we want to be the people who have that whole library that sets the industry standard in this new era.
Got a question from Dr. Lee of MES.
The question is, I'm not very clear. Do you train an AI model using simulation with the potential customers? Or, can you explain that? I have my question.
Yeah, so the objective is to actually get people through as real as possible of a scam to protect them in the first place. So we train on many different sources. For example, in Malaysia, it's actually Lawyat Forum, one of them. People write the stories about how they went through this scam and that scam. And we train based on that sort of data. And then we refine it in-house with our team to make sure to test it, make sure it feels real as possible, right? And it's very similar to the phishing simulations from companies like MicroStrategy, but in a more interactive format, personalized format, and really to prevent people more effectively.
We've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay. Do you know, what was the difference between your solution versus the Singapore government had this scam shield? Do you know the scam shield?
So a lot of governments, what they do is they have a platform to tell people, right? It's more telling, but it's not really experiencing. So we have the learning pyramid there where you actually remember only 5% of what you listen. You remember 10% of what you read. Yeah? On images, it's 20%. But when you actually go through it, if you actually experience a real scam, you will be very prepared. But we don't want to get it to that extent. So you get a vaccine, basically. A vaccine for scams.
We've got about 1:30 left. I think Prof. Eric from NTU has a question.
So do you also handle love scams?
It is one of the items that is on the list, and love scams happen to be quite big, targeting very specific people and very big losses. We want to make it as real as possible, and it will be interesting when we get there.
Judges, do we have another question? Aman from State Street.
When you talk about preventing scams, it is entirely through training, or are you planning to create APIs through which these platforms can actually prevent a scam right in the middle of it?
So as I showed, there was a whole set of ecosystem and value chain across the fraud prevention industry, right? And it starts with the human, right? And mostly 98% of financial scams and fraud happens that the weakest person is the human, right? Only 2% is just proper hacking and going in, stealing databases and whatnot. 98% has to do with someone, a human brain in between, getting socially manipulated and therefore scammed. So we target where it hits the most. 98% of the issues, if we launch this, 98% of the issues will be addressed.
We've got about 20 seconds left for a really quick question. Judges, do we have a final one?
I'm curious about your business model. So this sounds like an education tool, like a simulator. So who is buying this? How, yeah.
So we showed our model earlier. We aim to license it to the banks. So the banks might call you one day and say that, oh, you have $10,000 in your bank. Please do this assessment. Or if you're a telco and you're a high net worth individual, you might do it. Or even in schools in the future, might be a syllabus.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you once again, Exponential Digital. Thank you. And now the final pitch for the category of strengthening risk, compliance, and fraud monitoring. Please welcome from Poland, Algolytics.
Hey.
Ooh, you got fans. Woo, moral support. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
You look nervous. Deep breath. You can do this. 4 minutes starts.
I hope so.
Now.
All right, hi, hello. I'm Piotr Biegun, CEO at Algolytics from Poland. The team behind Algolytics spent the last 20 years developing credit scoring and fraud prevention solutions for multiple companies in various industries. And during those years, we noticed that companies believe that they know how to manage risk because it's relatively easy to find a level of risk you are willing to accept to run your business. However, many of them struggle to assess risk accurately due to long and manual processes, using only basic models, incorporating standard information, which resulted in poor predictions for customers with incomplete data, like new customers. And in the end, dependency on the rigid rules that treats all customers the same without offers adjusted to actual customer risk profile. So this ends in missed opportunities and drastically limits those companies to generate revenue, ending with losing valuable customers due to prolonged processes and inaccurate screenings, getting financial losses from higher default rates and different frauds, and in the end, losing even more money by saying less to high-value customers. And of course, you could use AI and machine learning to address the problem, but the issue is with the number of solutions of the market. So data scientists waste time integrating those tools instead of tackling your business problems. So therefore, we designed our end-to-end data science platform that helps to automate those processes with AI and machine learning. And on top of the platform, we use ready-to-use solutions for data quality and credit scoring, specifically tailored for financial use cases. With Algolytics platform, we address typical problems that data scientists face when trying to automate business solutions, credit solutions, with multiple data sources that needs to score customer in time on production environment, sorting from gathering, preparing, modeling data, building machine learning models, validating them, and in the end, deploying them and running on production environment with little or even no technical knowledge, and without waiting months and years for IT departments to do simple changes for them. So we provide cloud-agnostic platform that runs on any cloud or on-premise environment you currently use, and optimized specifically for handling large unstructured data, doing credit scoring in milliseconds, which is the standards that RTB solutions use to serve ads on the internet. So our platform easily adjusts to different types of customers supporting, starting with SMBs using our generic easy-to-use APIs, ending on banks looking for a platform that easily adjusts to different types of their businesses. So with Algolytics, you only need one person to manage complex credit scoring at our telco customers, supporting multiple types of products, customers, and channels, utilizing internal and external data sources, behavioral biometrics, geoscoring, machine learning, custom business rules, scoring customers in production environment in less than 5 seconds. So our behavioral biometrics and geoscoring models embedded in the platform are so good alone that could be used for credit scoring, meeting standards that financial authorities require from banks and financial institutions. So after implementing our solution, the telecom company we are working with was able to increase revenue by 25% by increasing conversion rate, decreasing default rates, eliminating application fraud and process automation, and what's most important, they were able to start selling more expensive products with higher margins to previously underserved customers. So, as we notice, we operating at a vast fragmented market with huge growth potential. We are profitable since 2021 with growing number of customers and multiplying revenue in coming years. So, to sum up, we deliver noticeable results across various industries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, Algolytics from Poland. Okay, that's done. We've got 4 minutes now with the judges.
Yes.
Let's reset the timer, and time starts now. Judges would like to go first with a question for algolytics. All the judges are
Tough
thinking.
faces.
Yeah, everyone's thinking. We have one from Prof. Eric of NTU.
Just wondering if the data that you work with is mostly numerical or textual, and if it's multi-source, then how do you fuse the data?
So it depends on the customer, but basically our customers integrate, we have pre-built integrations for different type of data, and because we have data modelers, so basically they can work on data and prepare them for using in different type of models. Yeah? And the whole value in our solution is the way that data scientists control the whole process, starting from working on the data, building models, and managing the processes without the help of the IT. So the speed, and other thing that probably it's more interesting here is that we have our own feature store that helps you collect data and do real-time machine learning. And if you look on the market, there are not many companies able to do real-time scoring, yeah?
Do you have another question for algolytics? Prof. Ng.
Is your system able to do explanation?
Yes. We have 20 years of experience in
how does it explain the credit?
So basically, if you are looking on scorings, you see not only the final results and information why something happening, but also calculation done in specific nodes. Yeah? And you have full audit log of what happened, why happened, and what kind of informations were in and out of the system.
We've got about 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. Judges, do we have another question for algolytics? Aman from State Street, please.
You mentioned geoscoring and behavioral biometrics.
Yes.
Can you explain?
Yeah, so basically we are able to tie behavior of a customer to your internal data. In terms of bank, it will be, for example, default rates. So first thing is to detect if you are interacting with a real person or a bot or someone who doesn't know their personal information. Yeah. So the first thing is understanding who you are working with, and later on, because you own the data, you are able to connect those behavioral data collected through the online processes with internal data. You could do a scoring. So the first level of connecting behavior with, for example, quality of your payment. Another thing, it's what we heavily rely on, is that we map different kind of phenomena on micro regions. So basically, we do anonymization of the data, and later on, we are using specific spatial information connected with different addresses, so like demographics, type of buildings they are living, near vicinity, yeah, everything, surroundings, everything that is happening around, and we use those features to calculate scores on an address level. So in terms of data we are seeing, the results we have for loan, for credit scoring and fraud detection, for individual customer, the ROC is 69%. So it's almost the same as standard information from credit bureau you're getting, because not many customers have scoring in those places, yeah?
Prof. Ng from...
so you use geolocation for credit scoring. Would it lead to some bias or discrimination?
So you're probably familiar with red zoning in the US. The whole idea is not to cross off the whole region, is to adjust the scoring to the address level, yeah? And it's just one of elements you're using, yeah? It's not that it's solely based on address. In our case, we are using location of of internet connection, your provider, address of where you are living, when the package is sent, etc., etc. So we are using this on a different level. So there are multiple levels we are doing scoring. So, and there is a lot of cross-check analysis looking for any kind of discrepancies. Yeah. So we know that there is an issue with this stuff, but it's more like about, in our case, in inclusion of customers, you cannot be scored in typical ways.
And that takes us to the end of our time of 4 minutes. Thank you, judges. Thank you once again,
Thank you.
Algolytics from Poland. And that wraps up our category of strengthening risk, compliance, and fraud monitoring. Now we have our final 4 of our 19 finalists. And this next category is enabling ESG solutions. Please welcome from the States, IFC. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to dance right now. Yesterday we wanted to dance a little bit.
Dance yesterday.
Okay, ready?
I think so, yeah.
You've got this. 4 minutes begins now.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and meet Milena. Using natural language processing and sentiment analysis, Milena is the only AI-powered solution tailored to emerging markets. Milena can read text, like corporate disclosures and news, identify more than 1,000 climate and ESG terms, and unlock curated information for users to measure, track, and validate data. Further, by organizing documents by different sustainability frameworks, Malena addresses data fragmentation and differing standards. Malena is unique because unlike out-of-the-box large language models that fail to understand ESG context, Malena has been trained in-house, leveraging the International Finance Corporation's more than 70 years of high-quality sustainability data and ESG expertise centered on emerging markets. Malena's strengths are speed. It can read 19,000 sentences a minute, 950 times faster than humans, and with 91% accuracy levels, Malena outperforms other sentiment analysis models. Importantly, Malena is underpinned by a responsible AI framework covering data and model governance. These features set Malena apart. But why does the world need Malena? Because we're drowning in disclosures. 99% of S&P 500 companies now disclose sustainability information. However, since most competing solutions provide company coverage based on global equity indices, there are sector and geographic biases that favor developed markets. Our research finds emerging markets are an untapped opportunity worth millions. Because while ESG disclosure requirements are growing exponentially, market coverage is lagging. Asset managers, for example, don't have the in-house capacity to analyze all this information. Malena addresses this capacity gap, not only for investors, but also for other institutions. Take the example of India. We ran the sustainability disclosures for the top 10 listed companies through Malena, and from more than 2,700 pages, extracted the Securities and Exchange Board of India's ESG metrics for these companies in minutes, specifically a 99% reduction in time spent on review. Here's the example for GHG emissions. And that's not all. At the click of a button, Malena also organizes these disclosures by other frameworks, like the Global Reporting Initiative, addressing data fragmentation and differing standards, and by highlighting disclosure gaps and letting users drill down to ground results within the source documents, Malena provides complete transparency. Importantly, the Malena models have actually been deployed in production in-house and tested on more than 250,000 documents to generate company, country, and sector ESG profiles and delivered productivity gains of $6.5 million. We've also beta tested web interface and API versions externally, including with one of Europe's largest asset managers. Next month, we will release a free global public good version and plan to deploy a commercial solution next year. So, the next time you're faced with 2,700 pages to read, imagine how Malena can do this for you in less time than it's taken me to tell you about it.
Thank you, IFC. And now we've got 4 minutes with the judges. You ready? You're going to bring on your colleague over here? Yes, come on, scoot over. Okay, 4 minutes starts now. We've got a question from Dr. Leslie of AI Singapore.
Two questions. One is the roadmap. You are not going to release the model, but you will release an ability for people to use the model, correct?
That's correct.
And secondly, if it's trained on IFC data, it's going to be, even though it's emerging markets, it will be the languages that are official in our IFC.
Yes.
So it's English, French, and whatever.
Yes, as a start. So at present, it's French, Spanish, Portuguese. We've also trained in Korean and Turkish, though we're having more difficulty with Mandarin and getting the kind of performance levels we'd like to see. So we're waiting to release that. I mean, as you folks know better than us, there have been real advances with machine translation that we're also able to benefit from, but we haven't seen the kind of performance results for Mandarin that we'd like in terms of model performance.
We've got a question now from Aman of State Street.
This data is public information. Are you providing me the large language model to parse this data, or actually you will parse the data and just give me the data?
This one for you.
We are providing the AI.
But technically, you could parse all the public disclosures that are out there in the market, create the data sets, and just give me access to the data. Why would you want hundreds of companies to buy your license to parse the same data?
Yeah, it's actually an excellent point and feedback we had from our corporate partners. That would be an option for us to offer, especially for public data sets. We've had a lot of concerns from our legal team internally. When we release Malena, it will be the World Bank's first AI as a service. So we had a lot of concerns about providing inferences, even on so-called publicly available data sets because of copyright reasons. But certainly that has come up as an option for us to collaborate with a data partner, including a news provider. We've also had a lot of interest from our so-called competitors to partner with us to actually integrate the solution and provide news as well as on annual reports, corporate sustainability reports. Yes.
We've got about minute 45. Prof. Eric from NTU.
How robust is Malena to conflicting opinions about a specific aspect, or since you choose ESG, phenomena like greenwashing?
Do you want to take the robust one? I'll answer the greenwashing.
Yes, I think everyone think that sentiment analysis is resolved, but if you have the unique sentence with multiple mixed sentiment, those models are kind of like failing. We train Malena to be able to handle those having two different sentiments in the same sentence. And the model, Malena is very robust on that. And
then as far as greenwashing is concerned, that's really where the sentiment analysis piece shines, because you're able to convert, and using the visualization, actually convert text to numbers. We've seen examples of companies with annual disclosures with only positive sentiment that then allows you through benchmarking with their peers to really focus on whether they are in fact, there's more greenwashing taking place. And this is also a good opportunity for us to call out the fact that 20% of our risk terms are actually corporate governance risk terms. So by and we've had a similar request from our beta testers, which is to generate a greenwashing score. And by combining certain factors like the type of disclosure framework they used, the level of assurance or attestation, as well as the scope of internal controls over non-financial reporting, to also add more insight, including the sentiment scoring.
Unfortunately, I think we've got 8 seconds left, not enough for question and answer. Thank you, judges, once again. Thank you once again, IFC. Thank you. The States, thank you. Next up for enabling ESG solutions, this category, please welcome from France, Value Co. Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay, you got this. 4 minutes starts now.
Hello, everyone. How many of you know how sustainable investment products are manufactured? Today, corporates have the obligation to report on their environmental, social, and governance practices. Rating agencies capture that data to create ratings and indicators. Asset managers use these indicators and other sources of data like Malena to create their own ESG proprietary scores. Now, these scores remain in-house and nobody knows what the market overall thinks. There is a huge diversity of opinions that is not captured anywhere, which creates confusion not only for all of you retail investors, but also for asset managers themselves, corporates, and pension funds. Our role at ValueCo is to bring objectivity and comparability in this space. How do we do that? We ask asset managers to contribute their ESG proprietary scores in a confidential way on our AI-driven SaaS platform. Our protected algorithm anonymizes and harmonizes these scores to rebuild the market perception on the sustainability of a listed company. Over 30,000 corporates can now access their ESG investors' perception, monitor it, and benchmark it on our platform. This helps them enhance their sustainability strategies with regards to investors' expectations and optimize roadshows while seeking funding. Asset managers have access to benchmarking and data validation tools to better serve their client and comply with regulatory requirements. Our signals enable them to create new sustainability products and to better manage their ESG risks and opportunities. Pension funds can finally compare their managers while capturing their proprietary approach. They can manage greenwashing and reinforce engagement. Our market is big because we are bringing sustainability to financial markets. It's a huge market. Why are we different? All these guys here, they focus on ESG data. We focus on what do investors think once they process all the data available. We are like the photographer. We capture the market view and redistribute it back to the whole ecosystem. We are unique because we have a great research, innovative approach, and we are independent. More than 30 managers with over $1 trillion under management have trusted us with their data, and we're onboarding 20 more before the end of the year. We got the PRI award. Major US banks and European banks like ABN AMRO used our data for their research. But most importantly is that we integrate and collaborate with the whole ecosystem easily. We build joint offers with exchanges, consultants. We partner with ESG data and infrastructure providers, and we talk to the regulators. My name is Miriam, CEO and co-founder, 13 years in financial markets. My co-founder, Mathieu, is a brilliant data scientist. If you like our vision of solving the ESG mess by setting a dollar in front of it and bringing objectivity to subjectivity, please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Value Co. Stay on stage, stay on stage. Now we've got 4 minutes with the judges. You can't go yet.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 minutes starts now. We've got a question from Dr. Leslie from AI Singapore.
You use the word AI.
Yes.
So how does AI come into this? Because you're collecting opinions. Where is the AI?
Sure. So the AI actually is used. We have an algorithm because we get data like some of them, the ratings are A, B, C, D. Some of them are out of 10. Some of them are out of 100. So the AI actually harmonizes that data, and we have 2 different ways of doing it. One way is really like statistically scaling, and the other way is looking at the quantiles. So that's like the first part. The second part is we're building like a new financial market metric in a sense that captures what market participants think about the sustainability of a company. And so what financial markets are interested in is the forward-looking, right? So the AI actually will be using these metrics to make predictions. That's where the AI comes into place.
We've got about 3 minutes left. Judges, do we have another question for Value Co?
So,
Professor Ng.
Yeah, it depends on your ability to attract the asset manager to provide you the data. How do you do that?
Yeah, so it's a gift to get model. So this does exist in other like Totem and financial markets, Market, and things like that. So basically, when the asset managers contribute, we give them back their position in the market. So for example, imagine you're scoring a company 90, while the average is at 50. Either you are really good, and so you can use that to better sell your strategy, or you miss something, and it's a risk management tool for your model. So that's one part. The other thing is that the signals, what is interesting is not just the spot view, but also the dynamic view, right? And these signals we sell to only the guys who contribute. The other incentive for asset managers, for responsible asset managers to contribute, is that you are scoring usually like 30,000 companies, you are investing in 10,000, you are talking to 400 companies. So when you contribute, you're scoring on all of the 30,000, you're participating in a sense to a global collective feedback, not only to the 10,000 you invest in, but also the 20,000 that are not eligible.
We've got about 1:30 left. Aman from State Street.
As you outlined, there are lots of different providers, and there is no standardization when it comes to the data sets. So different asset managers So one could be subscribing to Rhymes, another could be with MSCI. And then you ask the two of them to rate the same asset. They've been fed different data sets.
Yep.
So they will come back with different reports. And because there is no standardization, one is 1 to 100, the other is 1 to 1,000, the other is ABCD. So how does that standardization happen? And why is someone's opinion better than a published data set from a published provider?
Okay, so when you look at the order book for a stock price, you have a bid and offer, you have the bids of different traders, right? Every trader has his own model, his own sources of data, but he decided, okay, this is my bid in the market. So what we look at is, it's the same, like on ESG, everyone has its own sources, methodologies, but what matters is the final score that they use to decide whether they invest or not. So we consider like this final ESG score as their bid on the company from an ESG perspective. Because what we're looking at is like to understand how ESG is driving the investment. What is the dollar value behind it? So it doesn't matter that there are different approaches, like we are trying to capture the diversity of approaches, and like after that to really identify the biases with regards to the mid of the market.
And that brings us to the end of our 4 minutes. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you once again, Value Co. Thank you. And next up to present from the UK, please welcome Dovetail Finance. Hello. Alrighty, got 4 minutes. You ready? Okay, your time starts now.
Hi, I'm Amos, CEO of Dovetail Finance. We do climate risk for financial assets. So we're here in the ESG category. Most ESG data refers to impact. That is, what companies do to the world. Impact is super important, but it's also optional. You, as an investor, have a choice about whether or not you care about the impact of your portfolio. Risk, on the other hand, is what the world does to a company. And as an investor, you don't have a choice about whether or not you care about risk. It's part of your fiduciary duty to think in a structured way about risk in your portfolios, but perhaps more imminently, if you're in any one of these jurisdictions, the EU, the UK, Singapore, your regulators are in the process of mandating disclosures on financial climate risks in a structured way in your investments. So about 18 months ago, my co-founder and I were building out the climate data vertical at Palantir. We watched the SEC propose to introduce mandatory climate risk disclosure in the world's largest financial market. We were working with some asset managers. We knew that they weren't ready for the regulation. We knew that they'd particularly require external vendor support for the quantitative bits, putting dollar values on those risks. And we knew that we could build a solution. So we did. We launched it 3 months ago. It takes the form of a climate risk data platform that speaks the language of financial decision making. Our outputs are dollars, equity exposure, expected loss, not rankings and ratings and scores. We have global coverage of listed and unlisted financial markets, and a deep AI-enabled technical moat. But perhaps more interestingly, having this product in market has enabled us to prove out what was really a key thesis from the start of the business, which is, yes, sure, climate's a source of risk, but it's also the greatest commercial opportunity of our age. By forecasting the way that markets are going to respond to the transition, by pricing it, we allow our customers to invest in it. And so if we go back to that why now, sure, there's a regulatory tidal wave, but there's also a huge demand pull for climate-aligned investment products. And suddenly, our data is helping our customers build products for their customers that those people really want to invest in. Just to give a little bit of context about the shape of the data that I'm talking about. So if you're thinking about climate risk in investment processes at the moment, you're probably using one of two tools. You're either using some kind of ESG score or some kind of carbon intensity, carbon revenue intensity metric. Both really important data sources, not the same as financial risk and opportunity. And as soon as you think about some real economy examples, that becomes quite clear. So a company that sells data to the oil and gas industry, for example, it may have a great ESG score. It certainly has low carbon emissions. but it's selling into an industry that's transitioning very, very fast. Whereas if you're a company that mines and refines nickel ore, you might be doing that in the most polluting way imaginable. But ultimately, we need 4 times more of your product to build batteries and wind farms and to affect the transition. So by taking that climate economics information, by providing outputs on risk forecasts and market movements at a company level, we allow our customers not only to disclose risk and meet the regulatory requirements, but also to take ESG from a center of cost to a source of alpha. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dovetail Finance. 4 minutes with the judges. We're going to bring your colleague on stage as well to join you. Right over there. All righty, 4 minutes starts now. Judges, do we have a question? Jang, jang, jang. Judges are thinking first. No questions? Prof. Eric from NTU.
Can you tell us a bit more about the interpretability and explainability of your tool? So does it come with a confidence score? Does it explain the trade-off between the things that you talk about, like how profitable it can be and the ESG score and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to mostly hand this question over to Philip on the technical side, but I think the first thing to point out from a commercial angle is that we're not a market forecasting algorithm, right? We're a model for thinking about risk, thinking about the ways that different sectors might transition, and so the impacts they would have through companies' supply chains, rather than saying we're predicting all of the market just from a climate perspective, and it's going to do this or that.
We provide sort of 6 climate scenarios of the future, and based on that investment house depends on what your view may be, whether you think wind will will out over solar, whether you think steel prices will decrease. And ultimately, it is those asset managers' decisions to augment part of their workflow. We don't sell the same insights to everyone. They need to add it into their own modeling and their own capabilities to come to their own alpha.
I think we have a question from Dr. Leslie of AI Singapore. Do you have one?
I think you answered the question. I guess the concern I would have, or what I was trying to understand, is how you relate, what might be physical and quite well understood processes to the market price. And the market price is your guess and my guess. So I guess what you're saying is that you allow the analysts to add their assumptions on the scenarios, and they can then work with that. Am I correct?
I think, so I'm glad you asked the question because it allows us to make an important clarification, which is that we're really talking about economics, not meteorology. We're talking about the way that the economy is shifting as a result of the climate transition. And I think it's worth sort of taking a step back and thinking about how big the transition is. There's not a single thing that any of us are touching or wearing or can see that doesn't have oil and gas in its supply chain. So when you think about the scale of an economic transition on that magnitude, it affects every company's cash flows in one way or another. We are doing, I guess, a top-down climate digital twin of the global economy as a starting point and pairing it with bottom-up financial modeling.
We've got a minute and a half left. Jonathan from Julius Baer.
Can you share a little bit of details around the data that you're actually using to build out the models itself?
Yeah, so we take our sort of climate scenarios. We then look at input-output models. So if I'm a grain farmer, I'm impacted by ammonia, I'm impacted by the chemical industry. And we can shock through those industries combined with sort of core financial metrics. What are the capex of the business? What are their cash flows? And we actually see how that flows through an entire economic system.
We've got about a minute left for a really quick question. Judges, do we have a final question? So now from Oliver Wyman.
Maybe give us a little bit more detail around your technical moat. You mentioned creating a digital twin. It could be very broad. It could be very much taking proxy of a supply chain. So what's your approach? Why do you think it's a moat deep enough?
Yeah, so we enable economists to work with large-scale data. We're looking at sort of billion row scale. The complexity of rebuilding an economy, or the complexity of having a digital twin, which we can shock with different assumptions and different parameters, is invariably very, very complex. It's a scale problem, and also how do we augment the latest models? So we work with the Smith School, we work with Stanford, we work with large economic institutions at how we can sort of productionize models and how we can turn them into valuable insights to customers.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. 4 minutes is up. Thank you once again. Dovetail Finance from the UK. Thank you. And our final pitch, this is our 19th finalist for the Enabling ESG Solutions. Please welcome from Singapore, Visa. Hello.
Thank you.
You've got 4 minutes. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you. As we look towards tackling the most pressing environmental challenges, the question that we should stop and think about is, what are we doing to help organizations, particularly SMEs, access technologies that can help them chart a greener path? Good afternoon all. My name is Kendrick, and together with my team, we represent Carbon Sage. And our vision is to help organizations better understand their carbon emissions, as well as what they can do to make a difference. Research has shown to us countless of times that net zero planning experiences are not only inefficient, but extremely complex for SMEs. SMEs lack adequate resources as well as expertise to understand where they stand. At the same time, they lack relevant as well as quality data in their climate risk monitoring. They also lack actionable next steps to help them manage their climate-related risk. Truth be told, SMEs account for a significant part of the economy, and being able to help them in their net zero planning experiences will bring about significant impact. 64% of industry pollution in Europe is contributed by SMEs alone. At the same time, approximately 30% of environmental impact is attributed to SMEs. And to bridge the divide, I introduce to you Carbon Sage. Carbon Sage is a platform that empowers businesses in their net zero planning as well as execution, from the calculation, tracking, benchmarking, and forecasting, to providing recommendations on how they can reduce as well as offset their carbon emissions. At the same time, we also do carbon emissions reporting. So what are the features and how does it work? So putting on the cap of an SME owner, all I will need to do is to upload my company's spending data onto Carbon Sage, and Carbon Sage will apply Visa's Sustainability Index, or VSI in short, to actually calculate the carbon emissions. As a company, I would also be able to use Carbon Sage to track as well as benchmark myself against my own company's targets as well as industry peers. And to aid in my ESG reporting, Carbon Sage will also help me generate a baseline report. Carbon Sage also has a forecasting as well as scenario analysis tools that can help me understand as a company the various pathways I can take to reduce my carbon footprint. Parameters can also be tweaked to fine-tune that forecast. And to close the entire loop, Carbon Sage also have an offsetting initiatives that companies can contribute directly to, thereby offsetting their carbon emissions. So, how does Carbon Sage differ itself from other competitors out there in the market? As this is built on top of Visa's Sustainability Index, or VSI, it means that we are able to tap onto billions of anonymized live VisaNet transactions, and this means enhanced emissions assessment. Next, we also have because of the existing large data sets that we have, as well as extensive user data, this means that the platform can be used right from the get-go, guaranteeing immediate impact. As VSI as well as our modeling features are already widely used by our customers, this is a proven solution. With Visa's global presence as well as diverse partnerships, this will facilitate the scalability of our solution. There are 3 ways in which Carbon Sage can be distributed. First, directly to businesses themselves, via financial institutions who are offering green loans, and last but not least, via software providers. With the platform as well as features that we have introduced, we will help organizations, particularly SMEs, chart a greener path. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Visa, we now have 4 minutes with the judges, and we're going to bring your whole team onto stage. Come on out, guys. Okay, scoot on over, scoot on over. And we've got 4 minutes with the judges. Time starts now. Judges, do we have a first question? Prof. Eric from NTU, please.
Yeah, so it seems that the power of this company, which does something very good, is mostly, I mean, your idea, I'm not talking about Visa, is in fact, in the data provided by Visa and those VSIs. So beyond that, what's the layer of AI that allows you to do those forecasts and that is the power that you have? Can it also be like a drawback, because then that's the only data you have, only the data that Visa gives you?
All right, so that's a good question. So the reason why I think our solution puts an edge over everyone else, because Visa has a huge market share in payments. That implies that statistically, we can explain the trend that's happening on the ground with Visa's information. That's one. Now, VSI that you see over here is just one aspect of it. The second half of it, or the three-quarter of it, would be, as a user, I would just put my information in it, right? And I might not have enough information to do a proper ESG forecasting. So what I do is I put my information on the carbon stage, and with Visa information, I can figure out, or we can figure out, that this person is probably a vegan restaurant, right? And from that information, I can pull data from VisaNet, right, and create a model specifically for this vegan restaurant to create the ESG forecast. With that,
this restaurant is not in the Visa network, you can still make a forecast.
Exactly. So the information that you get, say I'm a vegan restaurant, right? I buy, I don't know, impossible meat, some vegetables, a bit of fries, right? But, if you have that information, that's sufficient enough for us to say, hey, that's a vegan restaurant. And we've already got a list of merchants who are, vegan restaurants. So we get that information out, turn them into embeddings, because security is really important. We pass these embeddings into an additive model, along with trend information from VisaNet. And that's where you get a very comprehensive predictions, not just the quality of the predictions, but also the ability to be interpretable. We can tell you the seasonality, the trends, and even holidays, which exact holidays have an impact on the account footprint. And it's only powered by the data that we have over at VisaNet. Thank you.
And in addition to that, right, because we have our VisaNet data, but once we're able to achieve scale with SMEs, right, we also do have the expenditure input that they have. But of course, if we do use this information, it will be fully anonymized. So that's one aspect of not 100% relying on what we have VisaNet data, which is our strength. But given time with that scale, we're able to utilize the data from the platform directly as well.
We've got about a minute left for a really quick question. Judges, Jonathan from Julius Baer.
It's a very interesting way use of data. My question is coming more to your business model, right? You're a team within Visa itself. What are you planning to do with this?
So from a business model perspective, and I think you've heard from Kendrick that our target segment will be the SMEs. And from a business model perspective, what we'll do is, if there's a data integration required, we can do a one-time charge with the SME to get on board our platform. But subsequently, we will do a subscription basis. But at the core, we understand that this product is meant for SMEs. So we want to make sure that whatever pricing model that we come in, it has to be sustainable for the SMEs. At the same time, brings them good value for them in the long term.
30 seconds left for a really quick question. Dr. Lee from MES.
VisaNet, if it is just one of the payment approach for the SME, because they may use MasterCard, they may use Nets, they may use whatever another approach. So which meaning just use the VisaNet data, you may not have a holistic view of the merchant behavior. Then how you derive insight from over there?
Yeah, really quickly. That's a great question. So we use VisaNet to compute the trends. So it's not on the exact amount, just the trends, because this is really important for the ESG forecasting. You want to see whether your forecast is going upwards or downwards. The exact amount doesn't really matter. But to answer your question, Visa, again, has a huge market share that is unrivaled. And with this information, it's statistically enough for us to come up with a trend analysis.
Yeah, and
unfortunately, I'm going to interrupt you. That's way over the time. Thank you so much once again, Visa from Singapore. Thank you. Thank you once again, judges. And there you have it, our 19 finalists for the MES Global FinTech Hackcelerator 2023 Demo Day. Can we give all our finalists a big round of applause? Thank you for your wonderful pitches. It's not easy having to establish the problem and then give your solution all in 4 minutes and then a 4-minute Q&A with the judges. So well done. The top 3 winners will be announced at tomorrow's awards dinner. So good luck. Thank you once again to the judges. Can we give the judges a big round of applause?